It's 2 p.m. Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Yeah, it's the makeup of the men in the locker room, right? Like, we don't have guys who give in. We don't have guys who make excuses. We just have guys that show up every single day and lay it on the line for one another. And that's all you can ask for. You know, it's a special group when, to a man, they don't want to let each other down. And so they're not going to let their own personal feelings get in the way of the job that they need to do for their teammate, for their brother, for their so, you know, that's just who we are. And we're fortunate to have, you know, guys with that type of character and that type of spirit.
It's been 17 years.
Long.
17 years.
Long years.
Since a Pistons head coach could go on and do a post-game press conference about a win. 17 years, and it happened last night in the Mecca of basketball.
Ooh.
Cade Cunningham, Dennis Schroeder,
Yes!
Maz, you
Schroeder.
called it yesterday.
Schroeder.
Went into the house, took that flip-flopping ass Brunson,
Oh.
mopped the floor with them, and now they're coming home on Thursday with a 1-1 tied series. I am feeling good today. I got some apologies to make to everybody in this room today. But first, let's get to some intros. Well, okay, don't take it easy, Mass, or it's not going to happen. My name is Stick. I am filling in for Braylon Edwards today. That, of course, is Anson Wells over there with the John Spider Sally bobblehead shirt. Anson also brought in some bobbleheads.
Speaking of bobbleheads, my friend, I told you guys yesterday. Every day this week, I'm giving away some stuff. But yesterday, if we got a Pistons win, I'd be giving a bobblehead away. This is going to work era. Rip Hamilton bobblehead.
Pretty sure my
That
dad's
one,
still has
sir. That's going to today's winner. I also got a little stack of Detroit cards here. Got an old John Harbaugh throwing the ball with the Bears.
No Bears.
Of course, we've got a Braylon Edwards rookie, which we're going to have him sign for you. And then in honor of the May 7th V-Friends Topps Chrome release, I'm getting you a V-Friends Series 2 card. This is Gary V stuff. It's going to be big. So get into it.
Gary V was at the
Get
game
in
yesterday.
today. Everybody with a super chat, you're going to get a piece of that raffle pie. It's the wheel. My man Pete's going to give it a spin at the end of the show. So get your super chats in. We'll read what you have to say, and then you will get a chance to take this bobblehead home, the V-Friends card, the other cards, and, of course, the Braylon Edwards signed rookie card.
Lot to talk about today, lot to unpack. Tom Mazaway is here, sitting in the Maz chair, soon to be the Maz massage chair.
Ooh, cannot wait, man. Cannot wait. Great
Is this
night.
a real thing?
Yes.
Hey, great night last night. Back and forth, Tigers and Pistons. Tigers, of course, wrapped up early, which was awesome.
Yeah, it was
great win
perfect.
over the Padres. And then the Pistons put on a show, man. And, boy, they gave us the roller coaster. They got it down. I mean, they were up 15. Then it was tied. And then Dennis Schroeder put it away. So, Dennis Schroeder, my hat's off to you. And a special shout-out to my man. About to go by the name of Paul Reed. You know, Paul Reed was a plus 13 last night, which led the team in the plus-minus category.
Wow.
He played 11 minutes. He scored 6 points, but they were a big 6 points. Paul Reed, the shout-outs for you.
Yeah, lots of Pistons to talk about, and I'm already seeing it in the chat. J-Mo unfollowing the Detroit Lions. What does it all mean? We're going to break that down coming up later on in the show. We got Ricky Burns in the sound booth. What's up, Ricky?
What's up, man? I'm just excited. Yesterday was perfect. I didn't go back and forth like you because of the app stuff, but it was nice because the baseball game ended right before the fourth quarter of the Pistons game. It was perfect, man. My blood is going.
And, of course, the one, the only Pete. Let Pete cook in the TD booth. Ricky, let's get his mic on for us. It's a key. There it is. And adjust your logo on your on your mic
goodness
flag.
sakes.
No,
Hey,
other way.
hey, there you
You
go.
can tell Sticks the
There you
boss.
go.
Hey, get it together now. Hey.
Put it over here, but that's my life.
My logo
Hey,
is always on.
Well, it's a little tilted, but I appreciate it. It's okay, Miles. It's okay. First of all, I want to apologize to everybody. Yesterday, the question was asked about watching the draft or last-second Piston game.
Yeah.
And, I got to be honest with you. My heart has not pumped for a Piston game like it did last night in 17 years at least.
Yes, sir.
And I forgot how it felt
Yes,
to
sir.
watch a tight playoff basketball
Boy.
game when your team has a chance to win.
sir.
Boy.
I forgot how I live and die with
Yes,
every
sir.
single possession. I forgot how much I hate flopping people like Jalen Brunson.
man.
I forgot how much I take joy in watching Karl Anthony Towns score 0 effing points in the second half. But honestly, I forgot. I honestly forgot what it was like to witness a playoff game where your team had a chance to win.
Man.
Because we got to admit, and it's true, it's just facts, the Pistons were the longest standing playoff losing streak for any franchise in any sport in history. That is what we just survived, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, neither did
Yeah.
I till I heard it this morning. And I was
Congrats to
like,
the Nets now, who now have the record.
yeah. Well, that's great.
Yes.
But I forgot, like last night, my beautiful wife, Corey, she fell asleep on my chest, woke up like, are you okay? Because
out
my
Dr.
heart,
Day.
honestly, my heart was beating out of my chest in the best way possible. And the Lions are the only ones who've given that to me over the past 5 years. No Tigers baseball, maybe a little bit last year in the playoffs with the Tigers, but not like yesterday, man. I literally could feel my heart pounding through my chest.
I remember running into you at M24, crossing the street from, what did they used to call that? Across the street from the Palace?
It was lots of things. The Post.
Yeah,
it was
the Post.
Yep.
I remember in 04
Venue. It turned
running into you, and you were on top of the world. We were all on top of the world. That summer of 04 was amazing. And I know you're a football guy, but I got to be honest, in my heart of hearts, I believe you are equally a basketball guy.
Listen, I am. It's just, once again, I forgot. Like, I forgot what it was like
Yeah.
in 04. I
Fair.
forgot what it, like, I remember being excited for the championships, but the in-game experience of caring about a basketball game, it's just different. And last
Truly.
night hooked me back in a way that was like, ooh, we hit that first piece of crack again, and we're back, baby.
Right.
Like, I ain't had it in 15 years, but we back. Tyrone Biggums is here, and I want more Pistons. I want more playoff wins. Sorry, Dan. I need it. But, it just felt so good last night. And so many good things happened last night, Cade Cunningham did exactly what we said he had to do. Kind of did it in reverse, though. Right? We said he had to lead the way and get everybody out and running early. He took over early and let the guys finish it late. Because if you watch the last 2 minutes, Kane was getting denied the basketball. Yep. He wasn't working for it as hard as I was critiquing him while the game was going on. But Schroeder
He was tired.
He was tired because he carried the team through the first 3.5 quarters. And that's kind of reverse
Don't say he
engineered.
wasn't trying hard, though.
A couple times it was like, dude, come on. But at the end of the day, Schroeder hits the big three when needed, and you need teammates to pick you up when you've carried them through 3 3/4 of a game.
Yeah, and we talked about it yesterday, and we kind of thought that he would do that. Kobe, Jordan, get your teammates involved for a half and then take the game over in the second half. But Tim Hardaway was not hitting shots early on.
Nope.
Beasley was not hitting shots early on. And I think that's a big step in his progression to being that face of the league that we're talking about, and that's reading the room, understanding if your guys are hot or if they're not, and if they're not, as a superstar, you got to take over, and that's just what he did. He has this unflappable nature in the playoffs so far. There was some egregious calls. The clear path foul with him and I believe it was Bridges, on the heels of a second offensive interference call 2 games in a row.
Sort of grabbed the rim, though.
But you know what? That team at no point melted down. They emotionally kept their heads for all 48 minutes, and that was a huge difference for me because talked about it over and over again. Chemistry and depth would be the key for this team to get over the Knicks. They lost that chemistry in the fourth quarter, but the depth and the chemistry in Game 2 was unquestioned. It was unflappable, and that is why they came out on top on the road.
My guy Jalen Duren played a great game. He played the most minutes he's ever played last night, and he was there, and he was getting those rebounds when you needed him. He was clearing out underneath that basket when you needed him. Wound up with a double-double. Hey, 3 guys with double-doubles last night. It was just a great team effort. Like this team goes, they go 10 deep, right? Paul freaking Reed got minutes, man, and he made the most of it. J.B. Bickerstaff, he played the perfect hand last night, and that's even after you lose Asar Thompson when he fouled out. Pistons got to stay away from the fouls. They're going to call a lot of them coming up here on Thursday.
But Bickerstaff kind of addressed that, please. He was okay with Asar fouling out.
Okay.
That's part of the plan, is to just keep punishing Brunson.
Okay.
And if one of our guys fouls out, guess what? We got another guard to bring in to be physical. He talked about that after the game.
And Greg Kelser, I was watching the Fanduel part. You guys were I think you were on the ESPN broadcast. I was on the Fanduel, listening to George and Greg. And Greg said, do me a favor, Pistons. Game 3. If Jalen Brunson has the ball, do not leave your feet. Stay on the ground. Don't jump. Don't do anything. The guy just throws himself into you. Right. He's a great ball player. All right, let's start there. He is a great ball player. He knows how to get to the free throw line. And he missed an important free throw late last night on that three-pointer when he just threw himself into, I forgot who it was.
Asar.
No, it was late in the game.
Yeah.
Duran.
It was Duran. Yes, it was Duran. Late in the game, he went to he had 3, and he put his hand up. Give me 3.
Yeah, he put up 6 when he went into Asar.
All he's doing is jumping into people. But that's what he does. He's an all-star. He knows what he's doing. Don't leave your feet, like Greg Kelser said.
Do you think that, because the NBA in the last few years said that they wanted to eliminate that play. They wanted to allow the defender to come down and
natural shooting motion is what they said.
So, I'm looking at Twitter last night, and they've got Woodward Sports with the Brunson flop remix. But then I also saw the same thing happen in the Boston Celtics game. I'm wondering, is this going to be a conversation that the league has with these refs and makes an adjustment on the fly? Because nobody wants to see that. That's not basketball.
What's awesome to me is usually Detroit operates in a vacuum. Like if we're complaining about somebody, it's like, okay, that's just our skew of it. But national Twitter, everybody is talking about how unethical of a player that Brunson is.
Ethical.
Unethical. The guy, I mean, he's James Harden 2.0 when it comes with the herky-jerky, floppy, grabbing. And it's crafty, it's cute, it's fun, but it's also part of the reason why the NBA had been dying. And what did I tell you about a month ago on this very desk? The Detroit Pistons could save the NBA with the way they're playing basketball.
Yeah.
And it's true. And you're seeing it right before our eyes in front of the biggest audience that the NBA can provide in New York. Because New York is turning on Brunson, too. Like, hey, enough trying to draw the foul. Play basketball.
Right.
Because when you start losing and you're playing like that, it's going to come to hurt you because everybody thinks you're just overthinking. Like, if you're a good player, go be a good player. Go be Cade, right? Go be Cade if you want to be that good. But he's not Cade, and he's not that good. And that's the problem. But I'm telling you, if the Pistons can put a stamp on this series and show that the flopping version of the NBA is finally dead, over, gone, the NBA will start trending up again.
Listen, Pete, put up the New York Post again.
Sure.
And just read what they wrote. Never mind what pissed off. That was one thing. But read the bottom there, Stick.
Let me zoom in on it for him.
The Knicks whine about refs after getting manhandled by Detroit to even the series.
There you go.
Malik Beasley was like the ringleader yesterday, so he was getting in their heads heavy. You could see it. Love it.
I want to tip my hat to Cade because the amount of abuse that Cade deals with on the perimeter, going to the basket, just all game long, he could easily be a dramatic flopper. And not even flopping to the ground, but doing the head throwback and all the things that these guys like LeBron and Brunson do. And he would get more free throws, but he's just too gangster. I honestly believe, he's like, I know I could probably get to the line more if I flopped, but it's just not in his DNA, and I love that about him.
And with that, though, he's going to earn those calls, and they're going to come naturally, right?
Love that.
Like, he's not going to have to. You could say, listen, well, I think we could all admit Kane was getting calls that he traditionally hasn't gotten all season long last night. And you could see a couple times he was like, You could also see it a couple of times when he looked around like, what the hell? Like,
Well, they
when
were
he gets knocked to the ground
they
and
gave
he's
him-
called for
They
the
give him the
foul.
ticky-tack ones on the perimeter, but not the hard contact ones
Yep.
at the hoop. you
But
know?
that's the good part of having a 6'6" point guard that can handle the contact.
True.
Brunson's just a little guy. He's just a little guy. He can't handle the contact when he gets down there. So he's got to do the flopping. He's got to do trickery because he doesn't have the skill set.
And we got our first super chat.
Someone's
We got
on
our
the wheel.
first entry into the giveaway today. It's, of course, from Byrne.
I'm gonna
New
get
York
two.
turned on Brunson because they had to see Cade do it ethically and clean. Also, if the ref doesn't call it, you throw away a possession. Stupid. I feel you, Byrne.
I'm going to give Byrne 2 entries for that.
It's $5. He gets 2.
Yeah, why not?
There you go. Keep them coming in, guys. Don't forget, we got an awesome prize package today for those super chats. The Rip Hamilton bobblehead and a whole bunch of other cool stuff.
Man, I mean, I've never seen a team dominate the first 6 quarters
7.
of a basketball game. Well, 3 in the first game and 3 here. They didn't dominate the fourth. They played even in the fourth. Knicks chopped the 15-point lead down to 0. And we needed that 3-point shot by Schroeder. So, but the Pistons, man, the Knicks got to be scratching their head. That's why I want to play Tom Thibodeau here for you. Tom
Sure,
Thibodeau,
buddy.
the Knicks head coach, little upset because he doesn't think his guy got to the line as much as we did.
Obviously, huge discrepancy in free throws. Huge. So I got to take a look at that, right? So, I don't understand, how on one side, that, you talk about direct line drives, the guy's getting fouled and it's not being called, right? So, and look, I really don't give a crap how they call the game as long as it's consistent on both sides. So if Cunningham's driving and there's marginal contact and he's getting to the line, then Jalen deserves to be getting to the line. It's really that simple.
He did get to the line late there, Coach, especially on the 3-point shot. And then Dante corrected us. It was Tobias Harris that got called for that foul on the 3-point shot that he threw his body. Brunson threw himself literally into Tobias Harris, who was standing there like a statue. So you are getting the calls. But in the first half, the Pistons went to the line 90% of the time compared to what the Knicks did. But they kind of gave it back a little bit at the end. That's why I'm saying you're going to have to earn Thursday night. Don't expect to be up 15 points on Thursday night on these guys because Thibodeau is going to run these guys. These guys will not be down double digits long like they've been going into the fourth quarter.
You know,
you can't.
I'm a little surprised by the discrepancy because I thought it was much closer. In fact, the Pistons had 2 more fouls but took 15 more free throws.
Yes.
That's what happens when you're the aggressor. I mean, when you're sitting back trying to bait people into 3-point shots and jumping into them.
I think the refs were kind of like sick of it. They were watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where Thibodeau looks like a coach that's already beaten. Like, remember J.B. Bickerstaff after game 1? We played it yesterday.
Yeah.
He seemed like he had it figured out and he was okay with it. Tibbs looked like he doesn't really have a direction to go to because
His team's been down the whole game.
and how did they beat the Pistons in game 1? Campaign played out of his mind. What happened to Campaign? This 3 fouls in
campaigned.
the first quarter.
He went right
Done,
back.
boom, gone, see you.
He went back
If
to factory
If the
settings.
New York Knicks are going to rely on Campaign to be the guy that beats the Detroit Pistons, their season's already over. And I'm already seeing it from New York sports fans of they're done with Tibbs. Like, hey, even if we win this round, we know we're not going to go any further in the playoffs. The Thibodeau experiment, you see what he does to his players in the regular season, and then once you get in the playoffs, they're just worn down. Karl Anthony Towns had his hands on his hips 2 minutes into the game. Oh yeah. I mean, like he's just obese and he can't do it.
They're getting out hustled. It's a young Pistons against a team. The Knicks aren't old, but they're older. And they got more mileage on him because Thibodeau, he plays only 7 players for the year. They have the 3 of the top 5 players in the top 5 in the NBA for most minutes. 3 of them belong to the New York Knicks. So they get gassed, and that's what he's done in past. He's a good coach. He just plays his players hard. Look at last year. They made it to the Eastern Finals, and what happened? They ran out of gas. They ran out of bodies.
Gas.
They were gassed. Now, Ryan Ermanni said this a couple of months ago. Well, during March Madness. He said, Rick Pitino, let's see Rick Pitino get to the Final Four with St. John's. It didn't happen. But then Rick Pitino stays in the Garden next year and takes over the New York Knicks one last time. do not discount Rick Pitino becoming an NBA coach again in New York.
I think the Knicks needed to end this series in 5 games. They needed to hold serve at home because once you start getting into Game 6, Game 7, as you said, Stick, Cal was gassed in the first quarter. This guy's put up 10 and 6 all game. You know, I kind of want to back it up to something that you said, though. Lions fan 222, the Pistons will transform the NBA. And you just brought that exact point up. The bad boys transformed the NBA. They literally changed rules. They took away the hand check.
Going to work.
And then going to work did too. And I think that the NBA kind of supported that team in the fact that they didn't like the super team that the Lakers had put together, which they knew was the future of the NBA. But the going to work Pistons did something that nobody was doing at the time, and that was holding the teams to under 90, to under 80, to under 70. And now you've got this team again that, you know, they held the Knicks to under 100 points. And they held them two quarters where they only had 18 points. This team is transforming the NBA and showing,
saving the NBA.
Franchises, you can be a defense-first team. You don't have to shoot 53 threes a game.
Or how about this? Just play with effort and look how fun it looks.
Hey.
Like, how about that?
Just play basketball.
I mean,
Real talk.
at its simplest form, that's what the Pistons are doing to revolutionize basketball again. It's not going to be a lazy Luka sport. And I love Luka. I think Luka's great. But you're seeing Luka's ass get exposed in the playoffs because what do you got to do? You got to play both sides of the ball. You got to have intensity.
The Matador.
It's different style of ball game. That's why guys like Lindsey Hunter became almost all-stars come playoff time.
Yeah,
because look what you were checking in. Mike James and Lindsey Hunter to shut down your backcourt, all based on effort alone. And Lindsey could score the ball, but that wasn't his objective out there. It was to shut you down. And just the fact that it's just nice that we get to lead this charge. Imagine if we were leading the charge of flopping Brunson, and like that's what we were attaching our wagon. This is Detroit basketball. Like that could be our identity, what Brunson and the New York Knicks are.
You wouldn't have woken your wife up with your heartbeat if that's the kind of hoops you were watching.
No, it's just ugh.
Pistons won last night without 2 of their best shooters. I mean, Tim Hardaway and Malik Beasley had off nights, and they still won that game.
And you know what I love about that, Maz? What do role players, where do they play better at?
Home.
You think they're going to go 1 of 14
No.
again at home?
Of course not.
Even if that turns into 5 of 14, they're winning this game running away.
Guess what? They didn't have beef stew either.
That's right.
Yep.
Guess what?
And guess what? They didn't have Ivy
That's
either.
right.
Like, this is the Lions version of the basketball
They are.
team. They're
They
down
are.
50% of the team and still
They're
putting
fierce,
foot to
man.
ass.
They are fierce.
That 4-man rotation in New York is not going to be enough. This team is stacked.
Yep.
Depth and chemistry.
And where can the Knicks? Who can the Knicks turn to?
Well, we
Obi?
talked about that last night.
Is Obi the guy?
Honestly, I think that they have to go into their bench and find a disruptor. And when you look at Game 80, when we beat the Knicks just at the end of the season, they didn't have Josh Hart and they didn't have Cat. So they went into their bench. And they brought out Precious Achiuwa, who hit some big threes. He's an effort guy. A stretch 4 or 5 that can block shots at the rim. But then the guy that I thought was super effective in that game that they have not had in this series, aside from a little bit of Mitchell Robinson, who was their best bench player last night. But it's P.J. Tucker. P.J. Tucker came in and pissed.
He still plays?
Yeah, but he came in that Game 80 against the Pistons towards the end of the regular season.
Yeah, he's just so
and
fat
he
now.
was disrupting. He was getting into the Pistons' heads. He was playing physical. That's not a physical team. That's not a gritty team. That is a strong 5-man starters rotation, and that is it. And if you got Josh Hart playing the way he was last night, it's a 4-man rotation.
He could have been called when he had the dunk at the end, and I forgot who was defending him. It looked like he got fouled, and they didn't call it.
Yeah,
if you remember.
For sure. But there was a lot of
That
that at
tied
the
the
rim.
game.
Hats off to the refs. This is some 80s basketball they're letting go on right now.
Give them credit.
That's why I don't like that Pistons moniker they got going, the back-to-work stuff. That's not who they are. This is the bad boys, man.
Well,
Yeah,
The
it's
bad
more
get you
bad
canceled
boys than back
nowadays.
to work, baby.
I didn't like it at first, and then I saw it last night before I was going to bed, and I saw the logo, and I was like, They are back to work. And the
bad boys are back to work.
Okay, well that's a lot
Now
better,
we get
but you can't just take one.
Now
I'm
we
just saying
happy
it's
Christmas.
yeah.
We put it
Like-
together.
Bad Boys 3.0 return to work.
There you go.
How about bad is back?
How about
Ooh, I
what
like that too.
LCA is going to look like on Thursday
I hope so.
night?
What
On
are some of
the,
the things you're hearing about?
Oh, let me pull that
What
up.
do we call it?
By the way, Johnny Kane joins us in just a couple of
And
minutes.
what are we calling the plaza?
I don't know what we're calling
It's
the
the
plaza
Chevy
yet.
Plaza.
That's
I
actually
know, but we got to
Kane.
nickname it.
We got to
Oh.
nickname it.
What are
We
we
got to
going to call
nickname it, like the factory or the
horsepower
assembly
line.
line.
Assembly line.
Horsepower Plaza. Horsepower Plaza.
Horsepower Plaza. I don't know about that.
Come on.
Toronto's got Jurassic Park. That's a good name.
That's horrible. I'd rather have Horsepower Plaza than
They
Jurassic
also
Park.
got Drake, so that's an L. Let's see. Here we go. The Pistons put out their press release for all the things that you can expect coming up. Festivities will go off at the pregame fan festival outside the Little Caesars Arena Plaza. That's what they're calling it. Beginning at 4 p.m. on Game 3 on Thursday, April 24th. 10 a.m. for Game 4 on Sunday, April 27th. Family-friendly activities. There's going to be a ton to do. Here's the part that I think is cool, and Anson and I both thought this was sweet. Kevin Saunderson, the DJ, local Detroit EDM DJ, kind of invented the damn thing.
Belleville 3, baby.
They got him doing halftime of Game 4.
I'm not mad at that.
No, it's cool.
I'm not mad at that at
Techno
all.
City, baby.
And then
I'd rather have the
America,
dogs.
everybody else is not gonna understand it, but Detroit is.
Kem is singing the national anthem.
Oh,
there you
now
go.
there we go.
So-
That's
So there's
what's
no
up.
dogs jumping
Black
up
as
and
hell.
down and chasing basketballs or anything?
No,
That's a
none of
shame.
that. No
a
quick change at halftime. Remember quick change?
As long as Jello's not there.
Yep. And then they just got tons of new food and drink coming in. The triple double, a triple patty smash burger with
Ooh.
bacon, cheese, and burger sauce. They
yeah.
also got
My arteries are throbbing.
the Coop truffle
are we to
poutine
die?
fries.
Oh.
D-Mac's gonna be all over.
Where's
Maz,
fish?
Maz,
D-Mac's
you
gonna
gotta
be
do
on
some
that.
food reviews while you're there.
Done.
Will you do some food reviews?
Done.
Dude, you gotta do
No
food videos.
hesitation.
I'll do it anyway.
You got hey Stick. Where'd you find all that info?
He's gonna do his own research.
Pistons press release.
Do
It's
we
not
know
on
if
their
the
it's
game
not
is
on
sold
their
out?
X page.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Thank you. Could you? Thank you, sir.
Yep.
I don't think it's sold out yet. There are some tickets available. It's going to sound sold out, though.
Needs to get sold out.
I know.
Needs to feel like
Oh, they're
the
bringing
Palace.
back Thunder Sticks.
Whoa!
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, bring it- Now, for the kids at home, when
Right.
the Palace was rocking,
Pull up
they,
some pictures of Thunder
they had
Sticks.
these things called Thunder Sticks.
I'll get some.
Yeah.
I'll
And
get
you'd
some.
clank them together. You'd make the noise. Everybody has a good time.
You got to inflate them first.
Yeah, you do
Yeah.
got to blow into them, but the key is put
Pause.
2 fingers in,
Yes.
then blow.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what my
Oh,
uncle
there you
taught
go.
me. My uncle said the same thing.
Pause, by the way.
No pause.
Hey,
It's only pause when you're
yes.
talking about guys.
Okay. Hey, Johnny Kane coming up.
Johnny Kane. We'll keep it family.
Yeah, it's a Getty's image. I can't use it, but go ahead. I was gonna put
Never
it.
mind.
Well, we have rights to Gettys. You could use it.
I don't want to
Just throw it up. Just throw it up, Pete.
Ah, well, okay, I
Throw
get
it
that.
up.
together,
But yeah,
man.
Thunder
Go ahead.
Sticks are coming back, so lots of things going down. It's going to be a fun atmosphere. We'll be broadcasting live from Buddy's Pizza right downtown on Broadway, right there in that little loop outside of Comerica
I better
Park.
save room for some pizza.
You better save room for some pizza. So
right.
we'll be down at Buddy's. You guys are welcome to come down, enjoy the party with us. We're going to have 2 simultaneous broadcasts going on at once. Heavyweights are going to be leading the Pistons watch party. Sean Belizian and Scott Bischoff will be leading the draft party, and talent's going to rotate through the rest of it. So it's going to be a really fun night at Buddy's. Make sure you guys come
Are
on
we
out
doing a
to that.
split screen?
We're
There.
going to be doing
Yeah.
there's those Thunder Sticks.
Yeah,
And
they are.
then post-game show there is afterwards.
Post game at Buddy's as well. So make sure you come on down.
Let's go.
Downtown is going to be fun. And you know what's cool? We were talking to the manager of Buddy's. Shout out to my man. I forgot. I think it was Kevin. He was talking about how last year, they got like a $200,000 boost in sales because of the draft.
Oh, yeah,
Pistons
that's right.
having 2 home playoff games. Not quite the draft.
Gonna help, though.
But it's going to help, though. And you can't forget about the economic value of the Pistons being good, too.
And you know what
it's doing
else
for
helps?
downtown.
Another super chat from Byrne. Pistons win if the Knicks answer is on the bench. And that's the truth, man, because
They don't have an answer.
but their answer was campaign in
Their answer
game
is
one.
getting more foul calls, and when you're relying upon the officials as part of your strategy, it's tough. Tell us about Dr. Pierce.
You got it, guys. Coming up, Johnny Kane. Stay tuned. Do not miss our expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. He joins us every week here on Big D Energy on Tuesdays. He joins us on Thursdays. Dr. Pierce is here to keep you in the game, performing at your best. Trust the guy that DMAC trusts. Heck, We all trust them. Give them a call, 248-426-9944, or check them out online at MichiganSportsandSpine.com.
The boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone! Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Detroit is a doubleheader of hype this Thursday at Buddy's Pizza. Catch the Pistons pregame watch party and the postgame show and our NFL Draft Live show all going down at Buddy's Pizza on Broadway Street in downtown Detroit. Coverage starts at 6 p.m. with wall-to-wall coverage and great atmosphere in that legendary Buddy's Golden Crush. Come for the pick, stay for the pizza, and rep the D like only you can. Woodward Sports Network, Buddy's Pizza, Thursday night. We'll see you there.
Yeah, I cannot wait. So glad the way things turned out. Like when they announced the Pistons were going to play on draft night, at first I was a little pissed off. But now I'm super happy. Like it's providing us with a special sports night.
Yeah.
That I don't think any of us predicted.
It's great, man. By the time the Pistons game is done, the Lions would have moved up into the 20th spot, and we're going to get to see them pick the guy that's going to put us over the top and win the Super Bowl. But we're going to worry about the Pistons first because they have a home game coming up here in just a couple of days. Cannot wait for it.
Is Johnny Kane on?
Yep, ready to go.
Well, let's talk to the man, the myth, the legend.
He was there,
Johnny
folks.
Kane, straight off the
Johnny
flight.
Kane.
Hey, Johnny.
What's going on? How are you guys doing?
Well, great, man. Thanks for joining us on short term here. I know you had a fun time in New York. Tell me about the experience at the Garden, man.
Well, it's incredible. You know, I mean, when people talk about playoff atmosphere being different from the regular season, you know, the Garden's always fabulous, and the fans not.
Free nights and weekends.
I'm sure LeBron was, I mean, in fact, everybody in the brother was in the
Hey, Johnny, we got a bad connection. I'm going to ask you to hang it up and let's try it again because we couldn't hear you. We love.
It's chopping.
It's a little choppy, so let's try it again, man. That's Johnny Kane coming to you from home, of course. Back in Detroit.
But he was in there last night, and I'm excited to ask him. Especially, I want to talk to him after LCA, after we play on Thursday, just seeing the difference between what was going on in New York and what goes on in Detroit. Because the ticket prices to go to that Knicks game, they were saying it was cheaper to buy a flight to Detroit, a hotel, and tickets to the Pistons playoff game.
That's how it is in the regular season, too. I mean, the Knicks and the Rangers are some of the most expensive tickets you're going to have in the whole country.
How many people does Madison Square?
21, 5 sometimes.
Okay, so I mean 20,000 people for a population of 7 million is
correct.
Tough. Like here, you know, there's only there's maybe 4 million in the metro population here in Detroit. So yeah, squeezing all those people into MSG is tough. Johnny Kane back on with us. It's Ermanni and Edwards with Maz right here. There we go.
There you go, buddy.
My bad. Right?
There
Check
you
your
go.
connection. Check your signal strength over here. You know what I mean?
got you,
My fault.
Johnny. Hey,
My fault.
Hey, it's all right. You left us. We asked you about the Garden, the atmosphere, the playoffs. How was it all, man? You were there for both games. It had to be a great thrill.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. Yeah, and sorry about that. I'll tell you what. Like the Garden's obviously a special place. I mean, New York's the Mecca, and just like Celebrity Row. I mean, you're looking across the way. You know, guys like Ben Stiller and Michael J. Fox and John Shrippa, the guy from Sopranos. I mean, just sitting like all right next to you. And so it's just wild, and everybody's there, you know, fired up for the Knicks. And that crowd was electric, like the whole thing, game one, game two. Game one's, you know, stands out because that was so palpable. But to see how electric the crowd got, and then to see the Pistons take that crowd out of the game, in particular in game two, like that was special to watch. Because as much as, you know, Knicks fans, they love their Knicks until they don't. And when you're part of the reason they can silence the crowd, you can shift that momentum in your favor. And I thought that's what the Pistons were able to do.
Yeah, we mentioned that early. Like, not only is Detroit critiquing Jalen Brunson very hard on the flopping, but you're starting to hear from New Yorkers like, just kind of play ball, man. What are you doing trying to draw all these fouls? Where there's groans inside of MSG?
Yeah, it's tough, right? I mean, look, we all have our own personal styles of like what we like, you know, and some people like watching, Brunson play, and some people like watching Luka play. Some people like watching LeBron play. I like watching Cade play. Obviously, we get a chance to do that 82 times a year. But when he wasn't getting fouls earlier in his career, he would still go to the cup, and he doesn't complain. He doesn't bait fouls. He doesn't request fouls. He just goes and plays. And I think, you know, as a coach, as a fan, you just want to watch guys go out there and play. And obviously, you know, Jalen's given up a bunch of size. But it is, like, as you're watching it, you know, I mean, it's like, you know, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, as far as trying to defend him, because he will elicit contact. But to watch it time and time and time again, it's like, you don't want to take the aggressiveness out of defending him, you know, and I think Asar Thompson will continue to learn that. And obviously, he's going to be an elite defender as his career moves along. But it, you know, when you're watching it, like, you know, nobody wants to see, I don't think most people want to see teams go to the line 25, 26 times a game. But that's part of their element. That's part of what they do. And it kind of grinds the game down a little bit. Obviously, last night, you know, the Pistons were fortunate to get to 100. But I mean, that's a low scoring game, you know, and when you're getting stoppage of the clock and going to the free throw line every 2 to 3 possessions down the floor, it disrupts tempo, and you don't get to watch basketball in its freest form.
Johnny Kane from Fanduel joining us on the Ermanni and Edwards show with Maz. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Ermanni. That is Anson filling in for Braylon. I got to respect your love for George Blaha, because me and Anson share it beyond. But the pictures that you post on your Twitter of that man stunting, how cool is George Blaha in real life?
I'll tell you what, man, that's my guy right there. And, you know, any one of us, man, any one of us that are on the microphone right now, you know, it's a blessing to be in this profession. It's a blessing to work in sports and to carve out 49 years on the mic and with no end in sight. You know, he continues to bring it. I mean, it's his life, you know, and he is, you know, like, I think we all probably have our own personal style. George has his, and he puts the fedora on and he heads in and he's ready to go to work, but always dressed up, always ready to go. And ready to provide the dulcet tone. So we have a great friendship, and I know that people appreciate that. So sometimes I give a little peek behind the curtain of the wardrobe of the day from Mr. B.
And you're starting to hear it within George's calls. You're starting to hear it within Mason's calls inside of LCA. They're ramping up to playoff version 2 of how they're calling games, and it's getting pretty exciting.
Yeah, and that's it, right? I mean, sometimes when you reignite the fire that burns within. You know, last year was tough, let's be honest. The year before was tough. It's always a privilege. It's always a blessing to watch it and to call it, for sure. But when you start to, this is what you play for. This is what you live for. I mean, like, to get to this level, it reminds me of last year once the Tigers got to the postseason. Like, if the fans are feeling that vibration within, you want to see that come through from the guys who are calling it, you know? So I can't even, I don't have no idea. I'm hoping to catch up with Mace here in the next day or two, but I can't even imagine what John Mason's going to be like, come Thursday night. But yeah, with him and Blaha, Kelser, the whole bit. I mean, This is what it's all about. And when you have a team like this, to be able to ignite it citywide, statewide, it's special, man. It's incredible.
Yeah, you heard Dan Miller talk about it. Like, the tough years, that's when you were getting paid to go to work. This is what you signed up for and have fun. Anson, I know you got some questions.
Yeah, before I get to some Pistons questions, I've been very curious because I've watched the Pistons my entire life, and you are really the first, youthful announcer that we've seen in decades. And I've always been kind of curious about your background, of where you came from, if you've always been a Pistons fan, and what you knew of Blaha before you got a chance to work with him.
Yeah, good question, man. So I grew up 100 miles from here in Northwest Ohio, and then, of course, when I tell people I grew up in Ohio, everybody has like a slight groan. But Detroit was the biggest city, the biggest big city closest to where I grew up, and so I grew up on the Pistons. I had a life-size poster of Isaiah Thomas on my wall. I appreciate you saying that I'm youthful. I'm youthful in terms of with respect to George, because he's got me beaten in years, but I do remember the Bad Boys years, and those were kind of the formative years of my life. And then when I was in college, the going to work guys. So I have always been behind the Pistons. I saw Grant Hill last night, like that was my guy in '94. I mean, that was my guy. When I first got here in 2015, I moved here from Kansas City. And it was an opportunity. I wasn't necessarily coming home, that wasn't my target. But when the opportunity presented itself, and they said you'd have an opportunity to cover the Pistons, Tigers, and Wings, and I thought, man, and I called my mom and dad, and I said, this feels right. And so to be able to get there, and then to work with George for those first couple of years, because we've had some turnover as far as sideline reporting goes. And it's tough to carve your space out, in any profession, but to get longevity in doing the job. And then several years in, it took a minute, but then as George has given different people monikers over the years, he started calling me Smooth Johnny on the air. And which I don't think I'm that smooth when I'm doing my broadcast. You guys probably hear me, I stumble through my stuff as much as anybody, but I remember one of our producers, he said, "Hey, man, you're in." I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "If you've got a nickname from George, you're okay." So we've gone with it. Now, a lot of people, when they yell out my name, they always say, "Hey, Smooth," and say, "Hey." So I give George all the credit for that.
A lot of people on the chat here on YouTube, Johnny, are throwing it out. Smooth Johnny's on.
There you go.
Smooth Johnny's on,
man.
Yeah. We appreciate you, man. Hey, did you get a chance to meet my idol, Walt Frazier? And I know Walt does the radio with Mike Breen, but Mike Breen obviously on ESPN this time. What's your take on seeing Clyde?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's one of them. They had all the guys in the house last night. Frazier would have been just before, like, my time of actually watching. But I remember I rode the elevator with him one time, and, you're just standing, like, you want to talk about aura. He has it in aces. So Clyde was amazing, as I was Spreewell last night. John Starks was in the building. I shook hands with Patrick Ewing for the first time yesterday, which was wild to me. So, yeah, Clyde's the best, man. And Mike Breen, in my opinion. So, like, last night, just, you try not to geek out when you're around royalty. But even in broadcasting, Mike Breen and Ian Eagle are two of my absolute favorite humans. Yep. And they're both in the building last night. We're all, standing there chopping it up. And it's like, it's just wild, man, just to be a part of that whole scene. And then there's Clyde. It's like, man, this guy, he's a one of one,
He sure is, man. You lucked out, man. You lucked out.
Let's get to some X's and O's in this game. Obviously, we love the broadcast end of it, but the Pistons, they made their adjustments in Game 2. We were talking before you were on. What type of adjustments do you think the Knicks could make in Game 3 besides relying on the officials for more fouls?
Yeah, great question, and that's what I think they're going to be up against because, look, they played 8 quarters of basketball, and you can say the Pistons have won 6 of those quarters. And if you go to the regular season matchups, they've won, including the playoffs, they've won, 6 of 8 matchups, So this was a favorable matchup for a 3-6 as far as seeding's concerned. Not every, but yeah, styles make fights. And the Pistons, the way that they play, and because of the depth, even though they're only going about 8 deep, they're not playing a bunch of bench minutes so far in this series. And obviously that's the one detriment to New York is when they do go to their bench, they don't play a lot of minutes. So Campaign picked up the 3 fouls early last night, and he was obviously a big contributor in Game 1. OG Anunoby was fabulous in game one. Less of an impact in game two. So they are relying upon Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson for sure. What I saw the Pistons make the adjustment, like with Cade. So remember he had 12 assists in game one, and they were doubling him, and they're consciously trying to force him to his left. And he can go left, obviously. But that was, the play was, we'll double him, we'll force him to the weak side. And then he didn't have to facilitate that much. He was able to get to where he wanted to go and then utilize his mid-range game. And that's the adjustment where it's like, okay, wait a minute. So now if you thought you had Cade wrapped up and it was like, let's make somebody else beat us, and then Cade comes back in game two, makes the adjustments and gets to his spots again, it's like, oh crap, now we got to go back to the drawing board. What are we going to do? I thought the way they defended Cat, as far as like putting Tobias Harris, who's given up size, but to hold him to 10 points, like that was big. You know what I mean? Like as Malik Beasley said, he said it's chess, not checkers, my boy. I said, yeah, I know. And it was like the Pistons seem to make those adjustments. And obviously the Knicks will have to come up with something. But I think once you create the element of doubt in your opponent, whether you're in an octagon, whether you're on a football field or a basketball floor, whatever, once you prove to your opponent that, hey, I've got you figured out, once you create that level, I think all bets are off. And I think the Pistons right now, you did what you needed to do. So you basically had two opportunities to win one. So you steal home court now. You went and split. You could have won game one. You didn't. But you still split. And now if you take care of business on your home floor over these final, 5 games, you're gonna be moving on to the next round. So I really like the position that the Pistons are in. I'll be interested to see what and if the Knicks can figure out some type of solution to make an adjustment that would give them the edge in this series.
Smooth, I want to stick with Brunson and Cat. I felt that if this series went 6 or 7, that it favors this youthful, energetic Detroit Pistons team. Were they as gassed in person as what we saw on TV last night? Because Brunson gave it everything that he had, but he looked tired. Cat looked tired in the first quarter. What did you see?
Yeah. Somebody asked me that too. Somebody said, "Hey, does it seem to you that these guys are gassed?" I don't know that I saw it as, it wasn't, sometimes you can just pick up on it. It's like, yep, these guys are cooked. I didn't see it like that at floor level, but then in the production, obviously you can look at the production and say, yeah, that obviously had to have been a factor. But that's the thing. I think the deeper this series goes, whether it was in the first quarter or whether it was in game two, the deeper this series goes, when you look at the minutes those guys have played and the way that the Pistons defend, because you do feel them. Like, you do feel them, whoever's guarding you. And Brunson's picking himself up off the floor nearly every time he touches the ball. That does wear on you. And so, it's like using body blows when you step into the ring. Eventually when you get into the championship rounds, that's when you start to see it. So we'll see. Obviously a couple days of rest in between games 2 and 3. But I do think, as far as from a freshness standpoint, I like the Pistons.
Hey, Johnny, last one before we let you go. We appreciate your time. But last night you were talking to Greg and, of course, to George, and you mentioned something about Paul Rudd. And you said it was a different story. You couldn't tell it right then and there, but I want to hear the Paul Rudd story.
We're uncensored, Johnny.
What do you got for me, man?
No, so I mentioned I moved to Detroit from Kansas City, and the Royals were in the American League wildcard game against the A's back in 2014, and our producer said it was, it's like a melee at the end of the game. You know how that is, where they say, "Hey, go grab somebody." So you just see all these people out on, and like you see some recognizable faces, but there's hundreds of people that are on the ball field, and the Royals just completed this epic comeback against John Lester and the A's. And anyway, so I see Paul Rudd, and I said, okay, I got him. So I walk over to him, and there's a lot of people that were on the field that people were trying to request interviews. I said, hey, would you mind doing a couple minutes with me? He said, sure. So we do our interview, and it was like live to tape, right? So we would cut it, and then they'd feed it right back to the studio and run it a few minutes later. And toward the end of the interview, I just said, okay, Paul Rudd, I said, you don't have to say specifically, but what are your plans tonight? How are you going to celebrate? And he says, party at my mom's house. He says, we're having a party, kegger at my mom's. And so we're just laughing. And then he says, I said, okay, Royals fans, you got it. Kegger at Paul Rudd's mom's house. And then he jumps back into the mic and he says, $5 cover, right? And we're just laughing. I mean, it was just this moment. Well, Paul's mom lives in Kansas City, as did Paul. So people ended up showing up at his mom's house like later that night.
Wow.
And because they found out where he had lived. Anyway, they ended up like making T-shirts on the whole deal. It said Kegger at my mom's house. And it just became this little viral moment in Kansas City. And then someone from Detroit saw the clip, and then they initially reached out, and it was that clip of my interview with Paul Rudd that ultimately led to me getting an interview to cover the Pistons, Tigers, and Wings.
Awesome.
That is awesome, buddy. That's why you're smooth.
Love that.
That's why you're smooth.
Yeah. So I owe everything to Paul. I wanted to tell Paul Rudd last night, man. I said, hey, you have no idea, but because of your humor and your comedic genius about the Kegger at your mom's, that landed me my dream job in Detroit.
That's awesome, man. Hey, you should talk to Paul again. Let him get you in the movies, Johnny. You're ready, baby. You are ready.
Yeah, there you go. Good stuff, boys.
Well, see you Thursday night at LCA. It's
Go
going to be a
Pistons.
special, magical appearance down there. Everybody here is super excited. If you got some time, stop by the Buddies. That's where we'll be doing our live broadcast from. Love to honor you with a slice.
Yeah, we got a slice.
Come
for
on
you.
for some pizza, man.
We got the Thunder
right,
Sticks
all right.
ready for you, too, man. We'll see you Thursday, John.
Yeah, thank you.
All right,
Johnny
sounds
Kane.
good, boys. Appreciate it.
Peace out.
Thank you,
man.
Johnny.
Thank you. Johnny
Fanduel.
Kane, Fanduel.
Good get, Maz. Way to do it, Maz.
Great guy, man. Love that kid. Love him.
Yeah, nice guy. And, like one of my biggest complaints about broadcasters sometimes is that they're just not excited as I am to watch the game. That is one thing you cannot say about Mr. Johnny Kane when he is calling a basketball game. That man is excited in it, and you can see why. If Breen is one of the guys that he likes and looks up to, Breen's the same way. So
NBA on NBC hat. He's ready.
Yep.
NBC's getting the NBA back next year.
Put it in the universe, Johnny.
That's
Put
it,
it
buddy.
in the universe.
You could be there, man.
Great energy to that Pistons broadcast.
Yep. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we got one guy to talk about. It's J-Mo time, baby. If you didn't hear, J-Mo unfollowed the Detroit Lions on social media.
Maybe.
Or did he never follow the Lions on social media? We'll find out that and more coming up next on Ermanni and Edwards.
I got a lot of things to talk about, and it is the massive inventory of cars at Les Stanford, Buick, and GMC. They got great offers that they're putting up for everybody. Get the 2025 Envision Preferred A all-wheel drive for only $259 per month, or try out the 25 Sierra double cab Elevation for only $169 a month. Is that right? Wow. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV. Take that step up for only $699 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out that massive inventory. Les Stanford, Buick, and GMC, lesstanford.com.
That camera is so scary when it moves. Wrong one. Wrong. Anyway, I'm still going to talk about merch. I know you're tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch or golf merch. Stick has one of the golf shirts on right now. Shop.woodwardsports.com. Pistons, Red Wings, they're done. You can still get some of their merch. Tigers, Lions, we got it up there. Hoodies, tees, hats, all guaranteed to turn heads. Dope designs. Go check it out right now. Shop.woodwardsports.com. Get you some merch. Brand new. Shop.woodwardsports.com. We'll be right back.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone! Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, dreaming of a new home but feeling a financial pinch? Get in line, guys. It's Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts. They're here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's $5,000 that you get to keep in your pocket and spend it and go watch the Pistons. That's right. Call Mark White and Associates today. 248-290-8242. Visit them online as well. MarkWhiteSells.com. Again, that number, Mark White and Associates. 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true. Stick?
Yeah.
Tell me about Planet Fitness.
Hold on, I had to text Spencer.
Oh, good.
Yeah, sorry. I know we got a show going on, but I got to text Spencer.
Oh, good.
He was supposed to be a part of the watch party. I just saw him post that he's going to the game. So we got to figure these things out. But you know what you don't need to figure out? Your fitness. First of all, it's essential. And second of all, Planet Fitness gives you the same weights. They weigh the same amount as the expensive gyms. And it's a lot cheaper. Plus, you can upgrade to that black card where you're going to get the massage chair, you can get the tanning and all that good stuff. 50 Metro Detroit locations near you. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Stick, filling in for Braylon Edwards. That is Anson Wells, filling in for Ryan Ermanni. Maz is here. Ricky Burns is here.
Yes, he
Pete is here. And Anson, tell us about the giveaway going on today.
I promised you guys if the Pistons won last night, I would double down on today's prize pack for the Super Chat. Got this bobblehead, the going to work era Rip Hamilton, and of course a stack of cards here. Some Woodward sports stuff. You're going to get that signed Braylon Edwards rookie as well
you need me to
as
bring
a
in my Rodney
defense.
Stuckey mini bobblehead? You need
Don't
that?
bring up Rodney Stuckey to me
sorry.
again. Stop it.
Figured I'd-
Stuckey.
figured I'd
Anyway,
throw it in
Out of
there.
Eastern Washington University, Rodney Stuckey.
Shout out to Byrne with yet another super chat. Make sure to wear earplugs. He's going to be also wearing earplugs. My ears rung during regular season game when Harden was shooting free throws. It's not a roar. It's sharp sounds. It hurts the ears. I think he's worried about those thunder sticks, so he's going to be bringing some earphones. But listen, get those super chats in. You're going to get a spot on the wheel. You got another about 55 minutes to get in there. I promise you. This little grouping here we're going to be sending you'll be very, very pleased with. That's all I got.
Anybody? Anyone? Anyway, I have some really cool stories to tell you.
What's going on over there, Pete?
Just putting together a nice little contest wheel, which has burn so far.
Yeah.
Burn and then burn again.
We can still spin the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
we
can
can still spin
you can put me on that pie, and if it lands on me,
You want a spot on the pie?
I get a spot on
All
the
right,
pie.
you got it.
I want one little spot on that pie.
I'll give you a Tom spot.
Hey,
Last spot.
when we went to the break, and by the way, Russell Browns joins us, one of our favorite scouts. Of course, the draft just a couple of days away in Green Bay. That's right, guys. We're 2 days away from the draft in Green Bay. So we'll find out once you get Russ back on here. But you talked about Jamison Williams.
Yeah.
And his name it's been in the news. Maybe it's us who's putting it in the news.
No,
us media people.
It started with a dude from Pride of Detroit, right?
Yeah.
He brought it up, and then it kind of caught fire, and now it's almost coming to fruition. As you see J-Mo with some subtweets here, which who
his
does this
Instagram.
anymore?
What does his Instagram read?
Those look like junk texts to me.
Yes,
Like that just looks like junk text.
Yeah,
a
something
young
he got
guy
into- yeah,
in
that
his
could be.
feelings.
He got into an argument
Not
at the bar.
getting
But
any
what's
word.
he in his feelings about? That's the question.
Well, that's the thing is he's not. Listen,
Loyalty before any and everything.
Right.
2 hearts on fire. stay sucker-free.
He probably got cheated on.
Guarantee.
It sounds like he got
You
cheated
got to
on.
remember, listen.
It does sound like he got
like he
cheated.
got cheated on.
But if your employer's going behind your back and shopping your rights, it's kind of like
Yeah.
getting cheated on.
Yeah.
Listen, that generation is so different from our generation.
No
they
kidding.
grew up with social media kind of creating their value system. Did I get
Yeah.
enough likes? Did I get enough views? Did I get enough comments? And so these young people, they wear their emotion on their social media. And if you're sitting there and you're not getting any feedback from the team, from the administration over there, you're just left to look at Twitter and to see all these fans talking about it and worrying and wondering. And what do? Maybe you have a couple pops late at night after the Pistons game and it becomes too much and you just throw it out there. I'm trying to think of what the equivalent is of people, rage posting on Twitter to what we would do when we were that age, when we were mad about something. Didn't we just call you?
A prank call you?
Right. Yeah, or maybe
call and hang up
order
3
pizza
times.
to your house or something.
Yeah,
but
but order
to your
10
house.
pizzas to your house.
These poor kids, they just don't understand the
So here's the
proper
deal.
outlet.
Does anybody know if J-Mo ever followed the Lions? I never kept
I don't
track.
know.
And I'm
I don't
hearing
know.
mixed signals.
Good question.
It's being reported multiple ways in the chat. But also, J-Mo posting that, we can at least agree on he may or may not have followed them at any point.
Right.
But posting that stuff
He's
along
hearing
with the
his name.
rumors,
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing. Let's bring in Russell Brown.
Before we do, a couple of quick chats here. Steve Lehman, $10. He says, I just can't be burned
There we go.
on the wheel.
Competition.
And Michael Weary, why does everyone think J-Mo's being traded? He never followed the Lions fan page. Brad would never trade a young player of his caliber unless it was that deal. Relax, family. Michael Weary. So we got some action
Well,
as we go to our man Russ.
This goes back to what I said yesterday, though. No matter what Brad Holmes does, I'm comfortable with it. If he decides to trade J-Mo,
Brad, we trust.
guess what? Brad knew what the hell he was doing. Russell Brown can confirm that Brad knows what he's been doing during these drafts because he's our draft expert here
That's right,
at
from
Woodward
Fantasy
Sports.
Pros and Lions Wire.
What's up, Russell? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We're
Great,
doing
Russ.
really
Thanks for
well.
taking time.
Maz, you want to lead it off?
I do. Russ, man, this is your time of the year. This is your time of the year, man. 2 days away. If I just want to throw a couple of things out at you. First of all, what are the latest rumors you are hearing about this draft?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of speculation today that there's going to be a lot of activity, a lot of trades happening. I don't necessarily believe that's going to be the case. I'm sure there's going to be, a handful, 2 or 3, but I don't see a ton of movement where, New Orleans moving out of 9, Carolina's moving out of 8, Pittsburgh's moving out of 21. Like, these are all examples that have been kind of passed on over the last 24 to 48 hours. Right now, the hot rumor is that Cleveland is going to possibly move number 2 or the Giants are going to move number 3. I don't see that being the case. I think Cleveland is set on Travis Hunter. I heard that at the Senior Bowl, and I'm kind of sticking to that through the process. And with the Giants, I think, they may want to try to bait a team in believing that they're either going to take Shedeur Sanders or Abdul Carter to try to get somebody to come up to 3. Maybe they can get some extra capital and maybe somehow find a way to get 2 picks in the first round. But the way I see it, they're going to stay put at 3. And I don't know if the Giants are taking Abdul Carter or Shedeur Sanders, but I think they're going to be stuck between 1 or 2 of those guys.
Hey, Russ, on the Lions, do you see them sitting at 28 and taking best player available, or do you see Brad Holmes, if he starts looking, and a couple years ago he moved up 20 spots to get J-Mo, do you think he moves up in this draft at all?
I think it's possible. I think if he was to look at Pittsburgh at 21, we've seen him do business with Minnesota in the past. Minnesota's sitting there at 21 or 24, excuse me. They're a team that they've only got 4 picks in this draft, and they've got plenty of needs and depth that they've got to add to their roster. So I could see a scenario where he does business at 28 and moves up to 24. Now, I don't necessarily know exactly what he would have to give up. He would definitely have to give up a day 2 pick, whether that's pick 60 or 102. But I think he might be willing to part with that if he knew he was getting one of his guys. And I would have to assume one of the guys highest on their board is probably Derek Harmon out of Oregon. He just fits. He fits what they're looking for on the defensive line. He's versatile. He can play as a 4-eye. He can play as a 3. He can bump out to a 5. He's very disruptive, and he's really starting to come into his own, but he's also got the size and the length that you're looking for at the position. So I think he would be a player that they would be willing to trade up for. And I know the sexy pick is moving up for a receiver. I think if they were, 24 would do it. They would want to get in front of Houston at 25, and they would want to try to get Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. I've been pushing for Luther Burden for a long time, but if Emeka Egbuka was there, he's my number 1 wide receiver, my 10th overall player in this draft. And I think the Lions, as far as just character, high football caliber player, Emeka Egbuka would be a player that would be a little sexy if they wanted to get past 24, maybe 21, somewhere up in that range.
I love that. I love both of those players. Harmon is a guy that I really think is...
Give me Derek Harmon!
Yeah, firmly on their board. You kind of answered my question a little bit in terms of going for a wide receiver, because everybody here in Detroit is obsessed with an edge rusher, whether it was trading for Miles or signing, drafting one, or signing one during the offseason. Is there a non-defensive player or a non-receiver that you see that could really end up in a Detroit Lions uniform this weekend?
Well, I look at Donovan Jackson out of Ohio State. I think he could be in play at 28. I know that might sound a little rich for folks, but he's a player that I put in high regard, and I love the hybrid, the versatile skill set that he has, that hybrid ability of being able to play guard or tackle. And he finished 36th on my board, so I don't think that's necessarily a huge reach. He really locked down that left tackle spot and was a big part to why Ohio State won a national championship. I think he's got a thick frame. He's able to anchor and play with power. So I think that would be a sneaky pick at 28, or even if they were to, let's say, move back to maybe 34 with the Giants. If the Giants wanted to move up for a quarterback, they could take him possibly at 34 if he was there. Obviously, he would have to get past Kansas City, the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe even Cleveland at 33 if they stay put there. But Donovan Jackson would be a player that would make a lot of sense. And then just going a little bit deeper, this guy really is like a Dan Campbell, but really a Brad Holmes type clone for what he's looking for with players, and that's Charles Grant out of William and Mary. He's probably more of a 3rd or 4th round pick at this point, but 6'5", 311, almost 35-inch arms. He's made a bunch of starts at William and Mary at left tackle, and he's a player that I think may play guard in the NFL, but there's a lot of love for him for what he's able to do with just his footwork, the control, the base that he plays with, and the arm length. So I think teams are going to be really intrigued with Charles Grant, and I could see the Lions, who have done some homework on him, I would maybe bet that they would consider him possibly at 102, or maybe a small trade back out of 60.
Russell Brown joining us, NFL draft analyst. Russell Brown, all right, you've heard the JMO rumors. You mentioned a wide receiver that they could trade up to get. I want to focus on the teams that they could be trading with to get that, because here's the deal. JMO, you still got him for 2 years, essentially, right? And if you don't sign him after the 2 years and he walks, you get a 3rd-round pick back. So you're at least looking for a 2nd or a 1st-round pick for Jameson Williams. Which teams would be willing to give that up to the Detroit Lions for him?
Man, I don't know if any team would be willing to give up a 1st-round pick just because of some of the uncertainty. When you look at teams, on day 2 of the draft with a lot of, 2nd-round capital, just really throughout the entire portion of the draft with a bunch of picks. You look at San Francisco, they've got 11 picks. I know trading to San Francisco is probably not ideal, but, you look at what they have. They've got pick 43. They've got pick 11. I doubt you get pick 11, but they've also got 75 and 100. So maybe you can package something and maybe get 2 of those picks. Maybe it's 2 third-round picks, and is that enough for you to pull the trigger? But I'll be honest, I don't see them trading him just simply because I think they like him. I think Dan Campbell likes him. I think the locker room really likes him. And I know there's uncertainty and you've got a contract extension waiting in the wings. But like your point, they've got two years to kind of figure this thing out. Don't force your hand on the weekend of the draft to trade him when you have some uncertainty with players in this draft, whether it is Luther Burden or Emeka Egbuka or Matthew Golden or whoever the case may be at wide receiver. There's always some uncertainty. You know what you're getting out of Jameson Williams in your offense, and he's been a mainstay the last 2 years, and he really emerged this past year. So I would be a little surprised if they moved him, but crazier things have definitely happened.
Russell, on the heels of a historic QB class coming out of the draft last year. A lot of people are talking about Shedeur and Cam Ward. Jackson Dart is a guy that's very intriguing to me. I'm curious what your feelings are on him, and if the Saints hold on to that number 9 pick, would it be a reach to keep that guy in the South playing for the Saints with that 9 pick?
Could be a great fit. I think Kellen Moore would know how to utilize Jackson Dart and get the most out of his skill set and get the most potential out of him. I mean, he is my QB3, my 34th overall player. I think there's much to be desired with his mobility. I think he's got plenty of arm strength, throws with plenty of velocity. He can win in the short and intermediate areas of the field with how he throws the football and how he attacks it. My biggest problem with Jackson Dart is he takes too long to work from one read to the next. He'll force a defender to like buzz down or allow a linebacker to get depth as a mid-hook defender or getting to hook curl zones. And that's going to cause problems in the NFL when the speed of the game is definitely going to be going at the fastest pace he's ever seen. So he needs a little bit of work, but I think New Orleans is definitely in play at 9. But the way it sounds up to this point, it doesn't necessarily sound like they're going to be taking a quarterback at 9. I think they're more comfortable with the quarterbacks at pick 40 and possibly a small, move up from pick 40 in the second round to maybe, take 40 and 71 and move up into, pick 35, pick 33 range if Cleveland doesn't trade back into the first round. So they've got plenty of draft capital in New Orleans. They've got plenty of needs. I just don't know if he would necessarily be the guy at 9 because up to this point, we've heard a lot about defensive line and offensive tackles for the Saints at 9.
Russell Brown joining us. I like to do the wild cards of this. I know, obviously, the Lions drafted a running back last year in Sion Vaki, but one of the wild cards that when I saw him play last year, I thought, my God, that is a Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, Chris Spielman guy, and that is Cam Scatabo. Are you hearing any buzz that they got him on the radar?
Yeah.
I mean, they've met with him. I've joked on New Year's Day when he was playing and, was playing through that illness that he had. I kind of joked like, yeah, he's playing for Jim Harbaugh or he's playing for Dan Campbell. I don't know. I mean, it sounds like it's pretty ice cold with him as far as what teams think he can be. I think they think there's a lot of limitations with long speed. Teams are worried about the contact that he absorbs and the amount of times. I mean, he's searching for contact. He's not the type of player that's trying to evade it all the time. So I think the Lions would be definitely intrigued somewhere on day 3 if they found the sweet spot and maybe they got 2 or 3 impact players, in this draft. Maybe they can roll the dice. They can bring him in as a special teams guy. Maybe he's a short yardage guy, short area kind of guy. If they don't feel like Sion Vaki's going to be that guy permanently down the road. But I don't see it happening. I think the Lions have plenty of needs on defense. We've talked about the offensive line and receiver positions enough. I don't know if they would necessarily take a running back at any point in this draft right now.
Russ, Jalen Milroe is starting to get a lot of action across the league. NFL coaches and scouts, I read today that someone has compared him to Michael Vick. And I know he doesn't throw the ball like Michael Vick, but I know he could run the ball like Michael Vick. Where's Jalen Milroe going to go? I have a hunch he's going to get in the first round somewhere.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I've heard a lot of positive talk in regards to what Milroe provides as a quarterback. Teams love the character. He's the type of guy, as it's been described to me, he moves the room when he walks in. People love his off-the-field stuff as far as his parents were a military family, the way he was raised. He's very like, yes, sir, no, sir, has his head on his shoulders. He won the academic Heisman in FBS this past year. So there's a lot of praise for what he can do off the field and in the locker room, in the community, and that type of stuff. I think a team maybe in the back end would be willing to trade up and try to get him just because I don't think he's going to, last too far into day 2. Mm-hmm. I think maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers at 21 would be intrigued enough to take him. Certainly Cleveland at 33, I think they would love to have him at pick 33 if they could. Again, a small trade up might be what they have to do. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but he played for Tommy Rees at Alabama in 2023. Tommy Rees is the offensive coordinator in Cleveland, so they're familiar with each other. And just when you watch Jalen Milroe, you mentioned Mike Vick, there's so much to love with his skill set. He's maybe the best athlete in the draft. He's dangerous with the football.
Fast.
I've labeled him as a weapon, right? Like we have always talked about Brian Dawkins being weapon X on defense. We might have a weapon X here on offense with Jalen Milroe because he's so dynamic, and I think he could play right away in those quarterback packages that teams like to do.
Last one, Russ. Lions. What would shock you the most? What the Lions would do in the first round?
Honestly, if they took a corner, taking another defensive back would be a little surprising. I don't think, a safety, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. But if they were to take a corner like a Trey Amos, a Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame, a Siobhan Ravel, if they were to pull the trigger on one of those guys, I would be a little surprised just because of how they've built this roster. They've put so much around the defensive backfield and getting corners in here. And I think they've got a lot of high hopes, obviously, for Tyrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. So I would be a little surprised if they took that at 28 or even at 60.
Yeah. You think that means that if they did take a safety, that Brian Branch or Kirby Joseph would be no longer with this team?
No, I don't think so. I think they value having 3 safeties. They need safety depth. There's not much there. And I think this is a football team that can do a variety of things with having a Brian Branch. And if just hypothetical, I don't think he's going to be there, but the dream scenario, number 4 player on my board, Malachi Starks, if he was the pick at 28, I mean, shirts are coming off, we're celebrating, we're excited. And it's one of those things, but I don't see that being the case. But I think they want a guy that they can move around as kind of like a chess piece in the back end of their secondary. Maybe 28's a little rich, but if they took it at 60, maybe Andrew Makuba from Texas, I don't think that would be crazy at all.
Hey, Russ, thanks so much, man.
Appreciate you, Russ. What are you doing for the draft? Where are you going to be at, Russ?
I'll be live on Fanduel for first half of the draft. Then I'll be jumping on the Detroit Lions podcast, hosting our draft party there on YouTube. Just doing a bunch of stuff. I'll be on VSiN before the draft. I'm jumping off here, getting on another radio spot in a few minutes. So there's a lot of moving parts for me, but no better time of the year.
Say hi to Brent Musburger for us on VSiN.
I will.
Nice job, Russ. Russell Brown. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you, man. I love that kid.
Yeah, lots of stuff going on, man.
Man, he's got him and Bischoff.
Bischoff, yeah,
love these guys.
Those two know their things.
Love these guys.
They do the homework, so we don't have to.
I'll tell you, man. The only thing that really pissed me off about the Lions offseason, they let Iffy Melifonwu go. And he's like, you need an extra safety. You need an extra corner. You need an extra linebacker. Well, this freaking guy played all of those positions, and they let him go to Miami for like $3 million. And I know, you got to be on the field, sure. But how many other freaking injured guys do they keep, and they don't keep Iffy? To me, I think that's going to come back and bite him. I do.
Well, whatever Brad Holmes decides to do,
I know.
I agree with.
I'm
blind.
Brad cook.
I'm blind. I'm blind when it comes to Brad.
Let Brad cook.
Lead me wherever you want, Brad. I trust you.
Boy.
As great as Melifonwu was in the 2023 playoffs, I don't believe that he's ever been really loved in the clubhouse.
Why?
Yeah.
He gone.
I've gotten that from my insider, and I believe that's why we didn't see a lot of him on the field last year, despite his great run at the end of 2023. And I believe it's why they're letting him walk.
I'll be damned.
And I'm an Iffy fan.
Yeah, because they let him walk for like nothing.
Yeah.
That would make sense to me.
Shout out middle-aged sneaker chick.
Yeah.
She's trying her luck again. She got in yesterday. Got in today as well. Anson, how long before my Carmelo rookie card is worth something? Well, sneaker chick, I would need to see exactly what Carmelo card that is. But Carmelo's got some value.
Yeah. All right.
We have an updated wheel. Would everybody like to see what it currently stands at?
We have
explain the
brand
wheel. Explain the wheel.
Yes. So once
we
again,
have a brand
guys,
new center feature.
who's that handsome guy in the middle?
Look at that. That's a pretty
Crazed
wheel.
maniac. But listen, you get in with a super chat of at least $2.99, and you're going to get a slice of the pie. You're going to get yourself on that wheel. And once again, we've got a Rip Hamilton going to work era bobblehead along with a stack of Detroit-ish sports cards. You're going to get yourself a Braylon Edwards signed rookie card, some Woodward sports stuff, and, of course, that V-Friends Series 2 card. So you got until about 3:50. So you got 30 minutes, and we'll be running that wheel at 3:55. And a little wrinkle today, Pete, whoever has the most pieces of the pie gets to choose how many times we shuffle the wheel before we spin it.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, how many spins we do.
all these rules in.
Hey!
You mean how many spins? I can't shuffle it, but I can do like a couple spins if you want.
You should be able to shuffle it.
I can't shuffle it, my friend.
Okay.
Hey, did you guys get a chance to look at the Lions' new locker room in their Allen Park headquarters?
Yeah, we did. I got to address something in the chat when we come back. Okay. We're going to take a break?
If you want. We don't have to.
All right.
Sounds good.
Terrell, I thought we had squashed our beef I thought we were on the same page. I thought we were on the same team. And then you go and do something like this.
Uh-oh.
Me and Terrell had an issue during the Lions season where Goff had a bad game. And what does Terrell do? Jumps all over Jared Goff, right? One bad game. I say just now that I'm blind for Brad Holmes. And what does Terrell do? He gets his Twitter fingers all up in a bunch. He hops in the chat and says, Stick, how can you be blind for anyone in this organization?
Ugh.
Did I miss the parade? No, you didn't miss the parade. But apparently what you did miss was an appearance in an NFC championship game. Apparently what you did miss was 2 home playoff games that we won. Apparently what you did miss was a 15-2 season. Apparently what you did miss was a first-round bye. Apparently what you did miss was everything we have never seen in this franchise in 50-some-odd years. So, yeah, the guy that took us there, I'm going to trust. And if you have a problem with it, I'm sorry. Like, what more does Brad Holmes have to... It has to be a Super Bowl, or Brad Holmes didn't do a good job here? Is that the measure? Is that where... And you know what? You know what? Wait. No. If that... No, man, if that's where we're at as the Detroit Lions organization, that the Super Bowl is now our measure... Do you know the man who put us in this position to put it where that is our measure? Brad Holmes. The only reason you're thinking Super Bowl is Brad Holmes. Brad Holmes. Your daddy. So believe in it. And this is the ignorance that I just hate out of these Lions fans.
But Stick said
like, what more do you need? What more?
Easy said you wanted to trade Kane.
Oh, God, don't get me started on that.
The conversation was had.
But Terrell,
Trade
we were
Kane
cool.
conversation has been had.
No, here's... For everybody who wants a backstory on the Cade conversation. Before the season, the argument was, who would you trade, Ivy or Cade? Here was my argument, Maz. Cade Cunningham is your best player. He has the most value. You will get the most in return. The Pistons have had a history of trading their best player and getting ultimate value in return. I pointed to Jerry Stackhouse. I pointed to Grant Hill, who we were all shocked when they left. They were the heart and soul of those teams. And you know what happened? You didn't get a single player back that matched those two, but you got a Ben Wallace and a Chucky Atkins that helped you build towards a championship. So this is like you can hold me to the fire for that opinion. I have history on my side to prove that it was a successful strategy in red, white, and blue Piston uniforms.
I went to jail for Chucky Atkins.
I'd go to jail for Jared
Still owe
Goff.
me some money, pal.
Hey, we've got, during your Screen Fest,
we've got
it's called passion, man.
Passion,
We're not used
sorry.
to it during
What's
2 to 4.
Screen Fest. Anyway, we got a lot in the Super Chat. Let's start off with Burn, $5. Card selling's about timing. Last year I was selling Bijan and C.J. Stroud rookies hand over fist. Carmelo would get a bump if he gets in the Hall of Fame.
All about timing, Burn. You know.
Michael Weary. People let Brad cook. That's all. Have a good day.
That's it.
And Jason Kenyon with a 20 spot. I don't like the J-Mo story. He was injured when we drafted him, suspended more than once. How do we invest so much on him and trade him for a draft? Not his level. J-Mo should be thankful, yes. 5th year less, yes. J-Mo belongs. In other words, he's like, we ain't trading J-Mo. That's how I can debunk that story.
If it happens, it's not this season. It would happen next year because they don't want to give him 20+ million.
During this draft, he will not. He's not getting traded.
I don't think so either.
No one's getting traded during this draft. Nobody. The team is ready to
Maybe
compete.
Hendon Hooker.
Maybe Hendon Hooker. Maybe Hendon Hooker to the Steelers.
I'm so curious what they really feel at Allen Park about that kid, because I know we all
they wasted a third-round pick.
But everybody wants to sentence him to obscurity and ineffectiveness because of Teddy Bridgewater taking one snap. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It's
with
not only
the
Teddy
Hooker
Bridgewater.
story.
Yeah. Earlier in the season, you told me they could get a second-round pick for him.
I said a third.
You said no. You said
all
you need is one team to fall in love with them. Ain't no team falling in
New
love.
England got a 6th-round pick for Joe Milton. 6th.
Joe Milton was never in the Heisman conversation.
He won a couple of NFL games. This kid hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
And he got benched for a high school coach And now he's fighting with Kyle
He's
Allen.
playing behind
who's
an
on-
MVP caliber quarterback, too.
Kyle
Who would
Allen
that
is-
be? Who would be the
That
MVP?
would be your buddy Jared Goff.
Wait, who's the MVP?
He is an
Who was in
MVP
the top
caliber
five?
Yeah.
quarterback.
Who has
period.
led the league in touchdown throws for the past 3 years? Oh.
You get no fights from me.
Oh, I know. I just
on
got to
Jared
hammer it
Goff,
home
brother.
to the morons.
The Lions signed Kyle Allen. This is his 5th team in 5 years.
Yeah, he's not good. He's
Okay.
going to
Not
come in
good.
for some.
Okay.
He's going to come in.
Did you hear what
for
Brad
competition?
and Dan said during the combine and the pre-draft talk? Kyle Allen's going to fight for the backup job. So
Because he's supposed to say, "Oh, he's just here for a camp body and he's got no shot."
Whoa.
Come on.
Why'd
You
they sign
wouldn't
him?
say that. You're a professional. Everybody that's invited to camp has a chance,
Yeah.
and they got to bring in some competition
I know.
for Hendon Hooker. But to just think that Hendon Hooker is a wash and a waste of a pick, he would have been waived by now if that were the case. You know, hopefully, hopefully we never have to see him on the field, and hopefully we get something for him. in the trial.
Terrell's in the chat.
Who is it?
Terrell's in the super chat.
Oh,
That's a Stick's friend. Terrell would have fired Allah. Yes, Stick. All coaches and GMs are judged by Super Bowls. I agree with them there. That's a fact. Get out of your fields laughing. No one is above reproach until there is a parade scheduled. Hey.
So according to Terrell, there's only been like 10 good GMs in the history of the NFL.
Well, this is Super Bowl 60.
Right, but there's been multiple Super Bowl winners, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe 15, 20?
More.
No, GMs. GMs are there for a long time, man.
I know, but it's 60 teams.
Okay, and how many Super Bowl coaches have there?
So 60 games, 120 teams. So
No, but that's not hanging a banner and that's not having a parade.
Well-
You got to be the winner according to this man.
Okay.
He said, "Where's the parade? Do you have a parade for coming in second?"
No, but
Okay, then
but it would be
then
nice
we're-
to get there.
It would be nice to get there,
Yeah.
but I'm asking you. Now you're telling me that only a small percentage of GMs are ever successful. Jerry Jones to Terrell is the most successful GM in the NFL right now because they won championships 30 years ago and haven't done a damn thing since.
More.
He's above reproach, according to Terrell.
Something tells me Terrell doesn't care about the bobblehead, and he spent that $5 just to talk to you.
Well, me and Terrell talked on the phone. You know, me
nice.
and Terrell have a
Is
history.
he from Florida? Is that the FL?
Yeah, Terrell from FL, and I thought Terrell got his head on straight. But apparently Terrell still got his head up his ass. But that's all right.
Well, thanks for the 5, Terrell.
Yeah,
Appreciate
And
that.
the comment. And I understand what he's saying. I really, truly do.
Yeah.
Because I always tell the guys, we have never been in a Super Bowl game. And this is Super Bowl 60. It's not Brad Holmes' fault. He got us as close. He got us closer than any other GM ever got us.
There's been 35 coaches who've won a Super Bowl. 35. So in the history of the NFL, they've only had 35 good coaches, according to Terrell.
And only 2 of them played indoors.
Jason Kenyon threw in another 5.
There's
to
some
go with his point.
competition
Dude,
in
this
the
is
super chat for this
crazy.
thing.
Jason says trading J-Mo would tank his career. Keeping him would get him paid after a 5th year. Maybe a Super Bowl. No J-Mo. No career. Thanks for summing my last up. I think I did it right, Jason. Not sure. The written word is hard to read sometimes.
I tell you what, this city is so enamored with J-Mo that I don't know how this guy doesn't get re-signed without half of the Lions faithful literally just crying themselves to sleep that night.
He is something. He is definitely a wild card.
Well, you guys got about
No
20 more
question.
minutes to get in on this.
We have one heck of a wheel.
Yeah, show that thing off
I
again. real
can't.
quick.
Hang on, I'm still building it, so we'll do it later on.
We'll come back from break. We'll take a look. But again, you guys are going to get a really nice prize package here. And so get those super chats in. You got 20 minutes.
When we come back from the break, I'm going to show you the Lions' new locker room at Allen Park. And there's someone that's rooting for Zadarius Smith to become a Lion again.
We all are.
We'll tell you that. We'll tell you who that is.
Yeah, I'm
But
right
first,
here.
There you go, Anson. There's what it looks like right now.
Oh, wow. The serious competition
pretty.
today.
Wheel of Destiny.
Love it.
Take it away, Ricky. Or is that you, Pete?
That would be me, young man. I appreciate you, Thomas. Thank you, my friend. Hey, everybody. You are listening right now to the numero uno sports digital platform on the entire globe. And we have 6 ways for you to catch our programming over there on YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. Come like, share, join, subscribe. We have 7 days a week programming now here at Woodward Sports. We got live watch parties for all the major sporting events. Come be a part of our family. We love you, and we want you to join us all the time here on Woodward Sports with those 6 options right over there for you to choose from. We'll be right back.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone! Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
Lady Jane's has been taking the chore out of getting your haircut since 2004. Come in any day of the week and let their talented hairstylists deliver that industry-leading haircut, the relaxing scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and the hot towel treatment, of course. Open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's because Lady Jane's is wicked awesome.
Fighting with people in the chat now.
I love it.
Terrell saying I should
my favorite stick.
I should do a show alone because I don't like people disagree. I don't mind people disagreeing with me if they actually make sense. When you're talking out of both sides of your mouth, oh, if you have a parade, you're beyond a reproach.
Right.
Well, Jerry Jones had parades. We can't criticize him. Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Oh, there's only been 35 GMs in the entire history of the NFL that are worth a damn.
Easy. He said that's what we're trying to figure out.
Oh, no, Easy's on his Malik Willis thing. And it's like, dude, I'm known as the biggest golf slappy of the network, but he still tries to pitch that I wanted Malik Willis. And it's like, well, which am I?
I did.
Which one? I know you did. Everybody did this time.
When we traded up, I thought it was for Malik.
Yeah, that's what everybody thought.
Hey,
It
we
was
got another super chat in here. Brandon threw in $5. He's throwing his hat into the ring. He wants to take home this bobblehead. J-Mo is staying, in my opinion. Trading away a playmaker for a possible playmaker in the draft is way too risky. And before we get to that, we're at 80 likes. Get us to 100 likes. Smash that like button, and I'll add a few more cards in. But are we still on J-Mo? Are we still talking J-Mo?
Yeah, sure.
Because, I mean,
that's the number one topic for the Lions today. Even though it's draft week, we can hypothesize who's coming up. I think because the Lions have such a late pick, it's just it's a different approach to the draft this year.
Plus, it's not an exciting draft. It's known as just from what I understand, it's the first round of this draft will be mostly starters, but no superstars.
Best running back draft ever, though.
You think this one is?
You watch.
Yep, very good running back draft.
You watch.
I agree with
There are
Anson.
running backs in the
That kid
third,
from Ohio
fourth,
State.
fifth round, maybe even the sixth round.
Watch out for that kid in Ohio
They're
State.
gonna
The
get
running back
plenty
at
of
Ohio
time
And the
State.
Raiders are now
Very
fighting for
impressive
Gentry.
class.
I just hope he doesn't go to the Bears.
Ashton
Well,
Genty can't go to the Bears.
Yeah, and then
That's the
now
one
the
thing I
Raiders-
don't want to see
I
happen.
want the
on draft
Jags
night.
or the Raiders.
Yeah,
to
the
go.
Raiders want him bad.
But these sons of never mind. These sons of guns might trade up because
Tommy.
Cleveland and the Giants are shopping 2 and 3 for that reason. They know the Bears want to come up and get Ashton Genty.
Yeah, I don't want
because
to see
that
him.
would be their Jahmyr Gibbs.
I don't want to see Omarion Hampton there either, to be honest.
As long as it's not Genty. That's all I care about. Well, yeah, it's such a weird draft coverage week. I'm glad we got the Pistons to kind of give us some hype because I just didn't. The lead up to this has not been what it is, and it's clear we're not picking in the top 10. We're not drafting a guy that we're expecting to play week 1 and change the organization, which we've been when you're drafting Calvin Johnson, Matthew Stafford, Aiden Hutchinson, Penei Sewell, like all those guys you expected to come in, start, and kind of change the culture. There's really not a guy you're focusing on to come change the culture. You're looking for a complementary piece in this draft with where you're drafting at right now. And that's not saying that Brad Holmes isn't the type to trade up because he's traded up to 12 twice.
Well, I'm going to agree with you, but I'm not comfortable with the.
Wait, you disagree with me?
I'm not comfortable with the, the complementary piece because what we've seen these two guys do, and Dan and Brad, is just take the best players available that might be a complementary piece now this year. But everybody that they seem to draft becomes a major piece for this team in general. So Lions fans all want to see them fill holes. This team doesn't draft to fill holes. They identify players that will fit in their culture, that had college production, very important as well, that they feel will easily assimilate into what they have going on in Allen Park. So listen, guys, they're not drafting to fill needs on this team. They are drafting players, and we're going to see that. You're going to be shocked. Almost every single round of this draft, like we have every single draft we've seen from these guys, and I can't wait for it.
I know, I can't. I'm so excited for this draft. Like, the buzz isn't there, but it's draft night.
It's still
It's
great.
the Lions.
It's
You're
fun.
adding to a 15-2 team that did something that no team had ever done and succeeded with damn near 2 starting defenses on IR. Like, I'm excited to get all the guys back that we lost last year through injury, but it's going to be fun to see who Brad Holmes thinks is going to add to this mix. And if it's Harmon, my God.
Hey, speaking of Allen Park, speaking of Allen Park, the Lions got some new digs. And Pete, we could play this without the music.
Sure,
Unreal.
buddy,
We'll
you
just
got
talk.
it.
And here's what the new locker rooms at Allen Park look like. Now, these are not the ones at Ford Field, but these are the ones at AP, and they're pretty sharp. Take a look at them.
How about Jason Kenyon?
Jason Kenyon is really coming.
Coming through.
Jason Kenyon with 100?
A hundo?
That's a record.
That's the new wheel. That is the wheel.
Wow, look at
That
this.
is the wheel.
That's the way.
Jason
Put him
now,
in, Pete.
Jason owns the wheel.
Jason is the wheel.
That's a nice locker room, though.
Look at that
Yeah, that
thing.
is
That's very nice looking.
And we're
Now,
only
this is not-
4 likes away from 100, which means I'm going to add some more in there. So smash that thumb up.
Can
Smash
we
that
read
like
his
button.
comment, man?
Yeah.
I want to read it. It's something that we're going to talk about here. It's Big Z, come back. I live in OK now, Oklahoma, I guess. Live closer to Bama than Detroit. Love my Detroit sports. MSU.
Go green!
J-Mo is worth the wait. Pro Rodeo deserves attention. I competed at the Palace for 5 years. He's a cowboy.
Hey.
He went to championship finals in Nash Vegas in 04. Next up,
24/7, 365. That's
man.
I went to
Jason.
some rodeos
All right,
at the Palace,
Jason,
man.
you are the
Dude,
man.
the
That was
man.
fun. Just for
We're
that,
gonna have
I'm
to
gonna-
do something for this guy.
Wait, just for that, I got to play you this soundbite from
Yes, please.
Detroit rapper Cash Doll, who's been seen with Zadarius Smith.
what song does Cash Doll sing,
I have
Maz?
no idea who she is. I can tell you she's good looking.
Zadarius, can you please come back to the Lions? Please.
Detroit
Yes.
loves Zadarius.
Yes, we love Zadarius. Come back. Come back. Zadarius, come back to the Lions.
You gonna help pay my salary? You gonna help pay my salary?
You hear
Okay,
him?
the best part of that was cut off at the end. She goes, How much is it?
Right.
She's saying she doesn't even
He
know.
might contribute.
Well, her man's unemployed right now, so
She said, please get him a
If
job.
Portnoy
please,
can pay
Lions.
for the kid from with the
Yep.
the Wolverines, that I don't know his name. Then
Bryce
we can
Underwood.
get people from
Bryce
Detroit to
Underwood.
contribute to a free agent.
She's a doll, by the way. Wow.
cash down.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Zadarius Smith also posted an Easter picture of him wearing a Lions T-shirt
I saw
at Easter.
that.
He's trying
So-
I
so
love
hard.
the guy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do.
Well, the
And he's
fact that he
hanging
hasn't
around,
been
man.
picked up is kind of odd considering
I don't
his
care.
pressure rate. No, I'm with you. I want Zadarius Smith as a rotational piece.
Yeah.
I do. I want him here, and it appears
He
he
hasn't
wants
had a
to be
chance
here
to play
too.
with the guys that were missing from this team.
No,
I want to see what
and
he's
that's,
got.
That's the thing. We're judging Zadarius Smith as being a Lion as being our top defensive edge rusher. He's never been that. The reason he was so successful in Cleveland was he was opposite Myles Garrett. Here he could be opposite Aiden Hutchinson, and I don't know why he hasn't been signed yet, but I do know there's 32 other teams or 31 other teams that haven't signed him either.
Yeah.
So I think we're first in line if we want to take.
Hey, I
a crack
want
at
to do
it.
something for Jason Kenyon. Jason,
You want to talk rodeo?
Go
You know, my
on.
dad used to ride bulls
did you?
in the
Yeah,
rodeo.
we got to get Jason something.
Jason, I want you to go on
That's
Woodward
gangster.
Sports Network, the website, www.woodwardsportsnetwork.com. Go to where it says merchandise. Pick yourself out something.
Yeah.
And we are going to send it to you. You send me your address to maz@woodwardsports.com, maz@woodwardsports.com. We're going to send you something. $100, man. I hope you win I hope you win something here. I know the rest of you guys. I'm rooting for you too. but
It's confirmed. Maz hates everybody else.
I do.
Zadarius hasn't left town.
No. Why? I mean, his girl's here. Why would you?
Yeah.
Who's his girl?
Cash
Cash
down.
Oh, that is?
Cash Doll's
What are we
girl.
doing here?
I didn't know that was his girl.
Anson,
At what
you know we're
point
doing
is
a
it
show, right?
implied that they're together?
Since like
always?
6 months ago.
Okay, I don't follow
Yeah.
TMZ, dog. All
You
right?
follow
This is
Detroit
sports.
sports, dog.
I don't follow their girlfriends.
Like-
I still don't know what Jared Goff's hot wife's name is.
Oh
you know
my
she's
God.
I know she's hot. I don't know what her name is. I'm busy
Don't you
crunching
disrespect?
stats.
Mrs.
Don't
Goff.
disrespect the queen.
What's her name?
The Queen.
I'll let you look it up.
Queen Goff.
I'll let you look it up.
Shout out Zadarius'
How could I forget her
girlfriend.
name? I love
I
her.
appreciate you.
I love her. I don't know if I like Cash Doll better or Jared Goff's wife better.
She was very charming in that video, man.
Yes.
Very charming.
Yeah,
Shout
Cash
out.
Doll's cool.
I hope
She's
she
cool.
does get with Brad Holmes and pay some of his salary because I'd like to see Zadarius
That's
Smith.
not how the salary cap works.
I understand.
Could we
Could be.
can't Could you imagine crowdfunding your football team?
Why not?
We got Kid Rock. We got Eminem.
That would be such a good idea
Yeah.
for any professional sports to include one fan signing.
Just one.
The fans get $10 million a year.
Who you signing?
Oh man, we got a vote.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't even put that. But wouldn't that be such a
Yeah,
cool
that actually
thing
is
to
not
be
a
a
bad
part of?
thing.
Like,
I love it.
I actually,
you do
I
a
probably
vote
shouldn't say
at
that.
the-
Yeah, I'll say it. So I saw something online. This guy was like, you know what they should do? Every team should draft a small person just for like fourth and ones.
well, you know why that's said?
Throw a ball
Mike Leach.
and throw a ball. Is
You
that
know,
what it was?
yeah, no, there was a coach, Mike Leach, who said that was one of his strategies was he was going to get a midget and throw him over on short downs.
Yeah,
By the way, Jason Kenyon.
that was a great idea.
Yeah.
Guys,
Jason Kenyon.
They
our
shot it down
Cowboy-
at the university.
Jason Kenyon again,
Our
guys.
Cowboy says, Maz, pick a winner. They can have the gear. So, in other words, he's given the Anson pot.
So he's contributing to the pot.
He's contributing to the
But
pot.
he's still
got
in the wheel
money.
anyway.
But we're going to send them the Woodward Sports gear for
He's
sure.
still in the wheel anyway.
Fletch lives daily with the five.
Fletch
Pistons
lives
making me
daily.
a proud fan. Central Florida in the big house. And Jason Kenyon for $10. I don't have this cash, but I could talk all rodeo in Michigan. I was a Michigan champ. We have world champs at rodeo. I know them. Stick, tell me who your dad was.
your daddy?
Clarence Day, he never competed up here. My family's from the Southwest. He's from New Mexico. So a lot of little rodeos out there. But I got his old belt buckles and competitions that he was in.
That's wild.
That
Ended
is
up
cool,
a bull rolled on his knee and crushed it. So he had to get a total reconstruct. Like, bull riders are something different.
Oh, my
Like,
God.
And he started out riding sheep, like that's what they
little
start them
kid,
out when they're
yeah.
little kids. Like it's
Wow.
it's a whole different life out there, man. Cowboys are some
You should
tough
get Joey.
hombres.
You should get Joey and Anna a goat.
A goat?
Yeah, get him a goat.
All right.
Oh, I love.
I like the
goats.
fainting goats.
I love goats.
Those
Oh,
are
the
fun.
fainting
Me
goats
too.
are hilarious.
Can we just take a moment to recognize how underrated Fletch was?
Fletch, the movie? One of my favorite of all
What
time.
are you talking? Underrated? It's the greatest, one of the
I
greatest
still
top
watch
5
it.
movies of all time.
For anybody under the age of 80,
Thank
Fletch
you.
is
Thank you.
Fletch
Thank
is
you,
a movie
Stick.
with Chevy Chase back in the day.
Oh, my
I
God.
didn't have
it's
to
great.
say it.
It's one
Just
of the
put it on the
greatest movies
Underhills
ever.
bill.
All right, Pete. Tomorrow you ask every other young host in here if they know who the hell Fletch is.
I don't know who the heck that is. Still one of the greatest
We are
movies
rocking
ever.
it today.
Dude, you should see this wheel. By the way, we gotta.
Why do you
I'm
look
out
at
of
me with
space, dude.
such laughter?
You know why, Maz. You know damn well.
Just because I brought up Cash Doll. You gotta ask me.
Spell Cash Doll.
K-A-S-A. That's my new rapper.
My God.
I'm gonna rep Cash Doll. I want a T-shirt with Cash Doll and me on it.
Well, we're going to rep Buddy's Pizza on Thursday. Let's tell them about it, Pete.
You got it, bud. You know, that'd be good old Anson right over there.
Listen, legends. This is a city of legends, and Buddy's Pizza is one of them. They've been around since 1946. In fact, their original location at 6 Mile and Conant still stands and still slings slices. They've got 22 locations throughout the state. Sign up today. You see that information above my head. The Buddy's Reward, they're going to get you points, which is going to get you exclusive promotions on every purchase. Download it today. It's the pizza mobile app for Buddies. Start earning right away. Add some Detroit style to your next pizza, and you can save 10% off in doing so if you put in 10 meal. Once again, that's 10 MEAL. You see it again right over my head. BuddiesPizza.com.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone. Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
Oh, yeah, everybody. It's time right now. You know, scan that QR code above my head. Use that code word over there. Woodward 1000. Open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account when you do and make your first deposit and your first bet. If your first bet happens to lose, you'll get your first bet back as a bonus bet up to $1,000, but only if you scan that QR code over there and use that code word over there to open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. Gentlemen.
All right, Pete is giving me the
cutoff.
The cutoff. You got 60
Wrap it
seconds
up, B.
to get your final super chats in. I'm going to read this one while you guys get it in. Nitty Gritty sent in $10. Piston Anson greater than Lions Anson. I get it.
Because you're not a Debbie
email
Downer.
response time not as much lesser than molasses. In Winter Easy said the Lions don't win because they don't make moves like Jared did to get Watson.
Like Cleveland did.
Jared Goff.
Randy Watson?
Jared Goff. You guys got about 30 seconds. If you want to get one last slice of the pie on the wheel to get in for this, we're going to run that wheel in about 5 minutes. Pete's going to figure out whoever had the most entries.
Well, we already know.
And they're going to, who is it?
Take a guess.
Oh, yeah.
Our cowboy.
Mr.
Jason.
Kenyon. So, Jason, go ahead and in the chat here, let us know how many times you want him to spin the wheel.
Shuffle it. I can
spin
shuffle
it
it.
Oh, he
once.
can shuffle
That's
it,
what I was
okay?
trying to tell you with the cards. I can shuffle it.
Very, very good.
How many times you want me to shuffle it?
Once.
Done. Done.
What are we doing right now?
Oh, Anson SOL is still a thing, Mike G, because
here's-
it's SOL until I see something I haven't seen before, and I don't want to hear about 15 wins. I want
All right.
a
You don't want to
Super
hear about
Bowl
2 home playoff
berth,
games,
baby.
Yeah, never saw that before.
Entries are
There was
cut
a
off.
lot you haven't seen before. You're now Terrell from FL. If it's not the Super Bowl, it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
you know what? At the beginning of the
Derpa,
season,
derpa,
actually,
derpa.
no, I need to bring this
Derpa,
back.
derpa,
At the beginning of the season, I asked I asked you if the Pistons suffered a opening playoff game defeat, would it be SOL? And every damn host in here, well, it's not going to happen, but yeah. And guess what happened?
You say the Pistons?
No, the Lions.
No, see?
If they suffered a first round
But they
defeat,
didn't.
I know.
They got a
says
first
it's
round
not the
bye.
first
round.
playoff round. Dude,
They got a first round
Get out
bye.
of here, man. I'm going to start agreeing with these guys. Listen, you guys all said if they lost,
We don't need SOL Anson to pop out right now. It's good vibes. It's good vibes
Let
with
them know
Piston
it's still
Anson.
there.
Okay.
But hey, I am Pistons Anson right now. And this might not even go 5 games, but I think we win it at home in Game 6.
Oh, God.
So, can't wait for
Maz,
Thursday.
you have exactly 30 seconds to talk about stupid, boring hockey.
Well, I'm going to do Tigers and hockey.
No, hockey, 30 seconds. I'm starting
Tigers
my
and
clock
hockey.
now. You're
Tigers-
wasting your 30 seconds.
Tigers won last night. Zach McKinstry, a home run shy of the freaking cycle. How about that? Gleyber Torres, 2 RBI.
Looking good.
Jack Flaherty gets the ball tonight against the Padres. And here's my hockey for you. The Capitals, the Jets, the Stars, and Kings all won last night. Ovi with the overtime winner. 4 games on the docket.
Had to get
tonight
it in there, didn't you?
for the Stanley Cup.
Had to
playoffs.
get it in
I
there,
had to
didn't
get
ya?
it in. People love hockey.
Great, there you go.
Stickers is
There you go.
anti-hockey.
No,
There
no,
you go.
It's
There
the
you go.
least watched professional sports
It
of all
doesn't
the
matter.
major-
People
go.
still are interested in it.
No, they're not. Not if their team's not in it.
Hey guys, just let me know. Are you guys
Let's
ever?
go do a Capitals watch party tonight, man.
Who's watching? At least watching the hockey games when you get a minute, right?
Yeah, in the chat. Can we put up a poll? Who's watching?
It's
the
too
hockey?
late for a poll.
Who's gonna watch a
Pete, I
Capitals?
love those. You just flashed all those. That was great.
Hey, we hit 116
Pete,
likes.
do that one more time.
We hit 116 likes, so I'm adding some more stuff in
Hey,
there.
watch. Here's the hockey 30 seconds. Right?
Oh,
Hockey
hang
in
on,
10 seconds.
hang
Come on.
This is gonna be
There you
hockey
go.
in 10 seconds.
Ice
There you go.
soccer?
There you go.
Ice soccer.
Great, your
Look at
hockey's
that.
done.
What a
Ice
great
soccer.
night. That was a great night. at
Couldn't
Game
even
One.
tell you one player on any of those teams.
That was twice. That was 2 times as long as we should have spent on
My
hockey.
hate for you grows by the minute. By the
Why?
minute.
Because you care about things that nobody else cares
I
about?
care about all sports. It's a big 4 sport. It's a big 4 sport. It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
And when the Stanley Cup happens, we'll talk about that. But nobody cares about this.
I'd rather watch lacrosse.
Did you put it up in the chat, Pete? Do you care about
I
playoff hockey?
I didn't have
Like, it
time.
doesn't
I'm trying
involve
to
the
fix,
Red
let me fix
Wings.
this stuff up.
Hey, shout out Burn threw an extra $2 into the end. Tigers #1 in the AL. Let's go.
You know what I want to
Bird.
do after this week? I want to pull week 1 viewing of NHL first round playoff
no.
and compare it
That's
to
not what I'm
reruns of Beverly Hills 90210.
I still
Lifetime.
watch that.
I'm sure you do.
Ryan loves pulling
Brandon
the numbers.
scored big
Ask
last
Ermanni.
night.
Oh, Brandon, at the Peach Pit?
I feel like he's a
baby.
Dude, you're like the dude from the Peach Pit.
I am.
Sal.
I'm-
Are you Sal?
Yeah, it was,
Not
no,
Sal.
it was the
What's his
peach
name?
pit guy.
Wasn't he Sal?
No, I don't think it was Sal.
Yeah, it was. It was some generic
It
ass
wasn't
name.
Sal. Who was at the Peach Pit?
I'm Googling it.
I'm Googling
It's
it.
not Sal.
Joseph Tata. What was that
Yeah,
actor's
Joseph
name?
Tata was his real
Yeah,
How do you know
Joey
his real-
Tata. Joey Tata.
Joey Tata.
By the way, Joey
Tata.
Tata played a criminal in the Batman series in 1965. He played a henchman. He played one of the henchmen. What was his name on the Peach Pit? It was not Sal.
Oh my God, Stick isn't a real sports fan if he doesn't watch the best playoff in sports. Stick, Lord Stanley's Cup is the hardest trophy to win. It's just as hard as any other trophy.
Tell him,
32
Nat.
teams in the league, one wins it, 1 out of 32. It's the same odds.
Hockey has one
His
thing
name
going
is
for
Nat.
it, and that's the coolest trophy in
Nat.
sports.
Nat.
That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a cool trophy.
It's the coolest trophy in sports,
Listen,
and that's all they got.
Listen,
it
you
is
two,
literally
put your heads together and make an ass of yourselves because you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about. NHL hockey in the playoffs is second to none.
Yeah?
Second to none.
Yeah, just above none. You're
so-
right. It's slightly above none.
Slightly, it's none than mad.
Listen,
It's none, then hockey, then real
Wait,
sports.
I'm not telling you to talk about it. I'm telling you, can we at least, do a minute? I'm asking for a minute.
No, this is Pistons
Yo,
playoff in draft
we've
week.
actually
Listen.
just did like 2.
the hockey fight was a lot more entertaining than the hockey update. I'll tell you that right now.
Alex Ovechkin scored the first goal and then won the game in overtime.
Sweet.
First ever time he scored in overtime in the playoffs.
Can you explain to the listeners who Alex Ovechkin is and what hockey is?
Yes, he is the guy that has the most goals ever scored in the NHL. He just passed the great Wayne Gretzky this year, but not in assists. That takes us to our wheel of Anson.
Yes.
Let's go, Pete.
Anson,
the wheel of
baby.
Anson. Anson, you take it from here, buddy.
All right. Shout out to the king of the contributions today. And I need to bring this back up so I can say his name. Jason Kenyon, shout out. We appreciate you so much. My man Pete's going to shuffle this thing
It's been shuffled 5
It's
times.
been
I can't-
shuffled
yep.
5 times, all right? And it looks like 4 of those spots are pretty large. Listen,
That's a hell of a wheel.
I'm going to be coming back
busy
all
wheel.
3 days of the remaining 3 days a week. We're going to do this each and every day. And Friday is going to be a very serious haul after the Pistons win Game 3, so it's going to be even better. But let's go ahead and spin this thing. I appreciate all of you guys playing along and contributing today. Pete, who's our winner?
Well, let's find out. You got Tom on the lower right. You got Anson in the lower left. Stick and I are watching in the background.
Let's go.
And spin the
Spin it.
wheel. Baby.
In the win.
Oh, I like the sound effect.
And this is in
Vanna Pete.
By the way, this is in super dramatic mode.
Here we
the
go.
slowdown will be very slow.
Remember, Jason Kenyon is giving back the Anson gifts.
Anson's
We might have to spin it again.
Oh, I think it's going to be the big red. It's feeling big red.
No, it's going by. It's got too much momentum. It's got too much momentum.
Who do we got? Burn. Nope.
No, we have
Nope. Green.
Jason Kenyon in the small one. The
Wow.
But he don't spin it again. He's giving his prize up.
That's why
No,
we were
he was
supposed to
giving
take
up
them
the
off.
shirt you were buying.
He's giving up the shirt, Tommy. He doesn't want to give up the bobblehead.
Yeah.
And then
No.
he just threw in another chat, a victory $5 super chat. Rodeo is 24/7, 365. We never stop now. New season always starts before the final starts. We never stop.
Rodeo over hockey.
Jason, you want to let us know what you want to do with this?
Yeah,
Jason,
man,
let
where's
us
our
know.
rodeo update?
Are you
Jason,
keeping or
let me know.
passing?
Do
Keeping
you
or
want
passing?
the Anson package or do you want something from the Woodward Sports merchandise?
Hey, Maz, they all
You
want
let me
the
know.
Anson package, just to let you
You
know.
got to have the
It's the
Anson
Anson
package,
package.
They all
Jason.
want
Come
the
on,
Anson
Jason.
package.
They did back in the day, I heard. Not
Take
anymore,
the
though.
Anson
Low
package,
blow.
Jason.
Low blow.
I'll have you know, Maz, we lost 100 viewers while talking about hockey.
We did not.
The numbers be the numbers, man.
Oh, man.
All right, we are out of here tomorrow. Braylon's back, right?
Spin it again,
So
Pete.
everybody who hates me, you ain't got to deal with me.
Spin it again, Pete.
I can't. Hang on. I got to go back to the show.
I don't know, just for fun.
Oh, you want me? No.
No, don't do it. Don't do it, Pete. Maz, hell of a show today. Way to book some good guests.
Jason, send Maz your information. Maz, put it in the chat.
Congrats, Jason. I really, really appreciate you today, man. You made that pretty awesome for us.
Good show. Good show. Fun show. Had some laughs, had some tears, talked some crap.
Talk some hockey.
Good day today.
Ice soccer.
I hate that the Pistons have 2 days off before this next game. Like,
We got Tigers. We still got Tigers.
Let's play
yeah, I
tonight.
know, but like, it's April for baseball.
Jason says
It's
spin.
built in anticipation.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Jason kind of wants to give this away
All
to
right.
someone else. Is that true, Jason?
Well, then we got to
Real
take
quick.
his name off the wheel.
Yeah,
because
that's
it's just
pretty
going
much
to keep
it,
winding
Pete.
up.
Well, I can't. So let's
Just
hang
spin
on.
it
I can
until
do it
somebody else
again.
wins.
Guys, I can do this again. Hang on.
And for everybody who thinks that, like, Stick, give hockey a chance. Listen, I was there when the Red Wings won. I've been to Red Wings parades. I watched the games, all that stuff.
Double minor on
The Red
Stick.
Wings aren't in it. And they haven't been in it for almost a decade.
Doesn't matter. You're still
It
talking
does
about
matter.
It's still
Here we
talking
go,
about a
guys.
playoff.
Okay, Jason Kenyon said yes. He wants to give it away. Shout out, Jason.
Spinning.
That's absolutely
Jason,
amazing.
we owe you something, brother.
Really repping
You
the
know what
hobby
the odds
community.
are on it not landing on him again, Pete?
Yeah, what are we doing, Pete?
They're like
Don't worry
they're like
about it.
insurmountable.
So how about we do the one below whatever it lands on
That's
if
fine.
it's Jason? One below if it's Jason.
Then it's going to be Brandon. It's going to be Brandon.
No,
Brandon
it's
is
Jason.
going to be the winner.
Yep.
Spin it
And
again.
Brandon. No,
Brandon
Brandon
is the winner. Brandon is going to be the winner.
All right.
Let's go, Brandon.
Shout out, Brandon. Appreciate all of you guys contributing. Be here tomorrow, 2 to 4. We are going to be running it back with some more stuff I'll be bringing for you guys from home.
And come on down to Buddy's on Thursday. Let's have some cocktails. Let's watch the Pistons. Let's watch draft night. And let's watch Brad Holmes cook. You guys have a great Tuesday. Weather's getting better. It's going to be like the Freaknik downtown on Thursday, so get down there early. We'll see you later.
See you at the Tigers, guys.